सरस्वती नमोस्तुते सरस्वती नमोस्तुते.
To formally commence this prestigious forum, I take the honor of inviting Dr. J.B.R. Ravindra Sir, Chair, IEEE Circuits System Society, to deliver the welcome note. Sir, I request you to kindly address the gathering.
Dr. J.B.R. Ravindra Sir is the principal of Vardhaman College of Engineering, Hyderabad, and a distinguished academic leader with over 26 years of experience in teaching, research, innovation governance, accreditation, and institutional development. A respected IEEE leader, Sir currently serves as the chair of IEEE CASIF Joint Chapter for 2025-2026.
Hello, can you hear me? Thank you for the introduction. Respected dignitaries of the dais and faculty of Anurag University and my dear students. Let me start with a simple example to understand what exactly the industry forum is all about and how this particular title is right away connected to all the students of ECE. A couple of years ago, during the devastating of Uttarakhand, there were many fire hotspots and which could damage almost all 250 acres of the Uttarakhand forest. And there were big satellites like Landsat and Kutrosat. These satellites were not able to send the exact hotspots of those forest spots, and it could take even more than 18 days to control that particular fire. But there is one satellite designed by secondary AG students, underline this, from Edinburgh University. It was CubeSat. I think most of you know about this. It was built in 2019, 1819 at that time. It was 10 centimeters, precision. Could exactly identify the hotspot of that particular, forest, and subsequently the people could understand it and then could control the spread of the fire. And this technology is unfortunately borrowed from the UK. This is actually the power of the miniaturization of circuits and systems in the remote sensing part. So let us do not understand the miniaturization of circuits and systems only in terms of the mobile phones or laptops which normally we use it. There is much beyond it. I'll give you one more example. If you look at our state of Telangana, northern districts of the Telangana basically, you talk about Adilabad, Nizamabad, Mehbubnagar, central Telangana, at least Karimnagar, Sircilla. Look at all these villages. Farmers heavily depend on the agriculture sector and the irrigation also. That's the reason this Kaleshwaram project has become so famous and it has become a buzzword from the last couple of years also. And they want to really finish off this. Anyway, keeping that point aside, now how do I identify a particular water leakage in the big pipe in those districts? Because a 1 liter of the waste is also not permitted because of the soil erosion or the seeds that you have. But still, there is one startup from Hyderabad which closely work with the T-Hub and also with ISRO scientists as inventors, and with the help of the agriculture ministry, government of Telangana, they could develop one satellite, and the precision is it is barely 1 kilogram. Please understand it. Normally satellites weighing from 500 kgs to 1000 kgs, but that particular satellite is barely 1 kilogram. Is also developed by students like you, and could easily identify the point at which the water leak is, or exactly the point where the padding or maize saplings, the insects locations, it could exactly identify. And the data is again sent back to the farmers. Actually, this is the meaning of the IoT connectivity, which is there in the second part of your industry forum. But sometimes I really disappointed by looking at some students' projects in terms of the IoT. They say that clapping hands, switch off the light, and then pressing one button which will control a light in my home. These are required, but industry needs much beyond this. Giving these two opportunities to me, a IoT project which is switching off a light at my home versus finding the exact insect location in a big 5 acres of the field, I go for the second one. That's where the IoT come into the existence. So you have to really broaden your mindset and then look at the power of the miniaturization of the circuits and systems. They can be used in many ways. In fact, it's not at only a classroom culture. And we were discussing with all your team members when we were taking a cup of tea, that there is a gap between industry and academia. Of course, there is a gap, and that gap will not be filled by anyone, neither the academicians nor the industry people. But you have to take the lead and use the industry people as well as the academicians, and then understand the technology. We only teach skills in the class. We don't teach the technology. That's where the main problem comes into the picture. And the industry need technology. Skills is the second choice to them. Right? So, having said all these points, whenever you take the process, make sure that it will be useful to the society. If you can target a common man, project, then definitely you will win the game. Such kind of a process really will. So you get more from less. That's actually the miniaturization of circuits and systems. More intelligence, and with less efforts and less power, whatnot. So that's you have to look at those miniaturization of circuits and systems. So that's the circuits and systems and remote sensing as well as an IoT connectivity. So you have to. We didn't go to the health domain, but if you go to the health domain, the applications are really wonderful, and I think you know that many of already the robots started doing the operations, and you have already seen this. So you look at their precision, how accurately they are doing. Sometimes better than human beings also. All of you to explore and then connect with the industry leaders. There are many people here, and their experience is much above your age, I'm sure about it. So therefore, talk to them and understand about the BLS and the broader perspective. What actually industry needs, that's what you need to understand. It's not what your professor needs, right? So when it comes to the projects as well as the innovations. So don't stop the innovations, and India need young generation with good minds and big idea generating people like you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for such an inspiring message. It will surely guide our young innovators.
I now invite Mr. Associate Vice President, Strategy, to formally welcome the gathering on behalf of the University Management.
A very good morning to all the dignitaries present here. Students from various different colleges like CBIT, Ganga, Vidyajyoti, Geetanjali, Vardhaman, and of course from Anurag University. I extend my cordial welcome to all the professors from the industry, Professor Mr. Daswathan Gude sir, Mr. N. Venkateshan sir, Professor Ravindra Garu from IEEE, Mr. Rupesh Garu, Subbarangaya Garu, P. Yadav sir, Dr. Jaya ma'am from NRSC, Manya ma'am, and Narendra Garu from Synopsis. I extend a heartfelt welcome to each and every single one of you coming today to Anurag University, taking time off your very busy schedule And having this time to interact with our students, this is a boon for every single person, the staff, the faculty, and the students of Anurag University. Before I give off my mic to much experienced and very intellectual people from the industry, I would like to take 5 minutes of your time to talk about Anurag University, the importance of such events, and my own some two-bit advice from my own limited experience that I have in this world. Starting off with Anurag University, it has been founded by Dr. Palla Reddy Garu, our chairman sir, in 1998 as a very standalone degree college known as Lalita Degree and PG College in Abbotts in 1998. In 2001, we have moved to 2002, we have moved to this campus, which by adding CVSR College of Engineering, and in 2005 we added another school college, Lalita College of Pharmacy. In 2010, Lalita Degree and PG College, Lalita School of Pharmacy, and CVSR College of Engineering have been clubbed under one single banner called as Anurag Group of Institutions for regulatory compliances, and so that it would ease the regulatory compliance, handling about 3 schools: School of Engineering, School of Pharmacy, and School of Management under Anurag Group of Institutions. In 2011, we have become autonomous from JNTU. In 2014, we become autonomous from UGC. And in 2020, Anurag Group of Institutions yet reinvented itself once again as Anurag University, a fully fledged private university under the Telangana State Private Universities Act, with 3 schools again. In 2021, we have added School of Agricultural Sciences, which is 5.5 kilometers from here, the campus. Nilma Institute of Medical Sciences has added in 2023, and College and School of Nursing in 2022. As of right now, Anurag University serves about 15,000 students in 6 different schools: engineering, pharmacy, management, nursing, medical sciences, and agricultural sciences. The reason that I am telling you all of this is because whatever you see here today, the faculty, the intellectual capacity, the infrastructure, physical infrastructure, the intellectual infrastructure, and the culture here, it has taken 30 years to build it. It has taken thousands of students, hundreds of faculty, all of them pouring their heart, mind, and soul into what we all wanted, to make this society a much better place. With single ambition of making this society a much better place, so that the sons and daughters of Telangana will have much better opportunities. And with this goal in mind, our leadership, our management, our faculty, and our students and their parents have come together, have done more than required, have gone beyond the call of duty of a student, of a faculty, of a leader, poured their entire blood and sweat into this organization to see what we are today. So everyone who is working in this organization, studying in this organization, have come to visit our organization, needs to understand the power of sacrifice, the time it will take to build something truly invaluable, and a little bit of patience that is mostly required in the youngest generation that we are here to address right. Again, why do you think, I do not know how many of you have come to this event just to put another mark in their resume, or just to escape the classes, or just to peacefully scroll your Instagram or your Snapchat. I do not know how many of you have come here for truly engaging with the industry, but whatever it is, I commend and applaud every single student who have taken that step to go beyond the normal call of duty for a student than attend classes, to attend such industry forums. Every single person here knows that the world outside this university is changing. Right? How many of you have watched the recent Nikhil Kamath podcast with Elon Musk? 4 or 5. still do not know. I am not the best of person to judge how the world is changing. But one thing is undeniable is that the world is changing in the ways that we cannot predict it, in the speed that we cannot predict it, and we still do not know how we can prepare for it. Neither the industry, nor the education institutions, nor our very diligent workforce are ready for it. In the face of such uncertainty, one thing that I would like to offer from my own limited experience is that I want each and every single student to fail. When I say fail, not in your exams, not in your daily duties as a student, but to try and experiment as much as you can in things that are outside your purview and fail. As of right now, how many of you are in second and third years? Can you please raise your hands? All of them, if not most of them. You still have 1 or 2 more years of very safe place where you are exempt from the consequences of failure. Please understand, even though most of the industry leaders, most of society, most of everyone talks about failure in a very different way than it will be perceived upon once you go outside this. It's a very harsh and unforgiving world out there. Everyone tells you in the podcasts, in such even industry forums, in any of the guest lectures that you need to fail, but none of them accept failure as it is. No one. It is an unwritten rule of the industry that you do not have time for failures. But here, you do have a wonderful chance to try out as many new things as possible and fail it. Not for the sake of failing, but for the sake of learning. Nothing makes you learn as soon, as fast, as deeply, as effectively as failure. When I ask you to try out as many new things, it needs to come from your own mind, your own passion, and sometimes with the help of your peers. There are 3 things that is absolutely invaluable in the world outside today. Ability to adapt, self-learning capability, and ability to collaborate and work in teams. These 3 things are invaluable in any sector that you go. The technology can be learned, skills can be learned, everything can be learned. There are 3 things that are absolutely invaluable which do not come at the minute you start. Ability to fail, ability to adapt comes from continuously trying out new things and failing and changing the way that we look, the changing the way that we perceive, and the changing the way that we have done the things prior to what we have done. Ability to learn by yourself is a very underrated skill. That is something that every single student in the education institutions, undergrad education institutions must have. I'm telling you something. Anything that we teach you today in these hollowed halls will not be useful by the time you go to the industry. I'm not saying that all the technical knowledge will be redundant, but I'm saying that alone will not be useful for you to make a career. There will be 100 other things that you'll have to learn by yourself, and that starts here. Start learning by yourself. If you have something to ask your faculty, please do by yourself. But do not expect or assume that reading or participating in the academic curriculum that is prescribed to you will be good enough for your own career once you go out of this. We are doing the utmost that we can to keep it up to date with the industry. The industry is doing the utmost to help us keep you up to date with whatever technologies. Neither we or industry are ready for the change, are able to keep up with the kind of changes that are taking place in the world outside. And again, ability to work in teams comes from keeping aside your differences, understanding your limitations, understanding your strengths, and understanding your partners, your team members' limitations and strengths, and ability to come together and get something to work. These three skills are extremely important, and I hope you will make use of this little advice. And I see that a lot of students are here with a lot of hunger in their faces. I want you all to keep that hunger alive, and I want you all to try out as many new things as possible. I will also tell you one single example of how that has worked out in our favor. In 2021, Anurag University leadership has taken a decision to invest in a small initiative called by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji garu to commemorate 75 years of independence by launching 75 student-built satellites. We are one of the institutions from Telangana, or the only institution from Telangana, to participate in that initiative. And we wanted to start building a small satellite to be launched into the space to commemorate that our 75 years of independence. We are still yet to launch that, but a couple of things that have come out of that initiative are 2 years in the row, WCRC, World Cancer and Rocketry Championship, which selects 10 teams from around the world. The only 2 teams or 1 team in 1 year to be selected from India was from Anurag University. And in 2024, Anurag team called Jigyasa won the WCRC that happened in Aveiro, Portugal, for the best communication best communication prize and the best satellite. Both the prizes have been won by the team Jigyasa. One of the person who's part of Jigyasa is here. Both of them are here. Every single in-space, every single hackathon, every single event hosted by InSpace will see a participation from Anurag Sat team. Recently they went to Uttar Pradesh for a model rocketry championship and a satellite CanSat championship. Both of them have been designed, built in our CRTM lab. The reason that I'm telling you all of this is, all of these students are putting in something beyond their existing classes. And that is very important. Why? Not for us. Yes, we are very proud to showcase Team Jigyasa in one of our brochures in Anurag University. But we do know that these students are working on cutting edge technologies that may be 0.5% of the entire student population of India. These students are going to be working with industry leaders in NASA, in ISRO, in any of the aerospace companies like Skyroot, Xlinks, any of those startup companies, to actually make a difference for Indian ecosystem. And that is what true engineering is all about. And I hope every one of you will take as many opportunities like that possible from your own post institutions, or even in Anurag University. We never say no to anyone wanting to take part in the education process. I hope and assume that every student here is going to continue with the same hunger that I see in your cases. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for coming here. And I hope you have
Thank you so for enlightening us with your thought.
At this juncture, we are honored to have Professor Fakhrul Zaman Rokhani sir, IEEE CASIF Vice President, Educational Initiatives. Delivering a virtual address today, his expertise in VLSI systems will undoubtedly enrich this session with valuable insights.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? Is my voice clear?
Yeah, yes sir, you're audible. You can just go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to speak at this event. My name is Fakhrul Zaman Rokhani, and I am the Vice President for IEEE Circuit and System Society. As of right now, we have about more than 20,000 members around the world, and most of them, a big number of them are in India, and India is very strategic to Circuit and System Society. So on behalf of IEEE Circuit and System Society, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the IEEE Circuit and Systems Industry Forum, CASIF, on the miniaturized circuit and systems for small satellites in remote sensing and IoT connectivity. It's a long topic, and it is very important topic, and it's timely. So today at Anurag University, Circuit and System Society are very happy to bring together top experts from the electronics and semiconductor industry to share their latest innovations as well as findings in circuit systems for the small satellites, particularly on in the use case of remote sensing and IoT connectivity. A little bit about CASIF, Circuit and System Industry Forum, has been around for more than 2 years now. And the primary goal for CASIF is to foster interaction and collaboration between academia, industry, as well as students on real-world engineering challenges and emerging technologies. In this model, industry speakers will talk about real-world challenges, while the academic speakers will present the potential technological solutions in their lab, and this effectively bridge the gap between research and practical application. And this is the vision of Circuit and System Society. To the topic of small satellites, I think all of us agree that India, in particular, is very strategic to drive this mini satellite research and development activity. India has many experts, industry leaders, the advanced know-how, and in my thinking, India is well advanced, well positioned compared to many other countries. And this particular topic, which is on small satellites, it encompasses a lot of different circuit blocks, different systems operating together, and this is very important to our dear society. In addition, CASIF is not just about technical excellence, but it is also about building community within circuit systems and applying to specific verticals. And in this case, the verticals would be the small satellites and remote sensing and IoT connectivity. I looked through the program. I saw the program is very strong. We have expert talks, we have panel sessions, we have mini set challenges for the students, and most importantly, the networking opportunities that the organizer provides to all of the audience. So to the students and young researchers attending this program, I ask you to keep asking, to keep learning, to keep trying, and to start relationships with the industry speakers, industry leaders, as well as the professors, not just today, but beyond today's event. Once again, on behalf of IEEE Circuit and System Society, I sincerely thank CASIF organizer, led by Professor Santosh Miriala, my good friend, and she has been a very active and strong volunteer to the education aspect of Circuit and System Society. And also, special recognition to Anurag University for hosting this event, for lending your auditoriums and for arranging all these local arrangements. To the co-organizers, the industry partners, I saw many industry partners from Cadence, NXP, from XD Links, Space Lab, and from NVIDIA, from other technologies, from NRSC, and Synopsys. Pardon me if I don't have enough time to recognize all the industry partners, but thank you so much for participating in this event. I also would like to recognize Mr. Pridyada, also a very strong and energetic and very active circuit and system volunteers. He has helped me in many events, education and communication. I look forward to meet you in person, Mr. Trick, somewhere, sometime in the near future. And last but not least, to all committee members and volunteers whose hard work made this CASIF forum possible. So it is my great honor to welcome you on behalf of IEEE Circuit and System Society, to welcome you again to the CASIF 2025 event at Anurag University. I wish you inspiring discussions, fruitful connections, and enjoyable time together. Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable insights.
Let us now extend a warm welcome on behalf of our university academics. I invite Professor V. Vijay Kumar Sir, Dean, School of Engineering, Anurag University, to share the welcoming address.
Respected dignitaries, and also my dear student friends who came from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh from various institutions. Once again, I welcome you all on behalf of Anurag University, on behalf of IEEE for this industry summit. I hope when you return back, you will have a lot of thoughts which you will take forward and you will try to implement in your institution. Let me say anyway brief about the School of Engineering. Anyway, Anurag Palla has already said about what the Anurag University existence and the little history of the Anurag University. And I am proud to say that after COVID, the Anurag University has revamped its again IEEE societies. And we have, at present, we have 9 societies or chapters. One is the CAS, everybody knows about that. And other one is the Computational Intelligence, CIS, Computer Society, Geoscience and Remote Sensing and Society, GRSS, Power and Energy Society, PES, Robotics and Automation Society and Nanotechnology Council, RAS and NGC, and Society on Social Implementations and Technology, and Women in Engineering in Affinity Group. So totally we have got 9 chapters, and out of all these things, Society in Social Implications of Technology, we are first to start in Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh. So I am proud to say that the IEEE members and everybody of Anurag University came forward to start this. But anyway, starting is easy to any society. But I am proud to announce that in the last year 2024 and 25, totally 56 events were conducted by all these 9 societies, and somewhere about 10,200 students have participated in it. I request the Santoshi Madam to showcase all the events we have conducted in book form. Every year we publish them, so you please show that, Madam, so that will be a good thing. And last year we called the year of hackathons. Somewhere about 9 hackathons were conducted in 2024 and 25. But anyway, whenever I talk about hackathon, everybody feels that hackathon is the property of what CSE allied branches. but we have decided with the help of management and leadership why it should be only for the CSE allied branches. Then we started asking the other departments, non-CSE branches, to start also to initiate hackathon. I am proud to announce that last year the EC came forward, the EC department, and they have started and they have initiated hackathon. It's somewhere about 400 participants from Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Kerala participated. And I am proud to say that in Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh, to my knowledge, first time the EC department has conducted hackathon. So I really appreciate the department of EC for this. And in continuation of this year civil engineering has conducted and build-a-thon, a kind of hackathon, so that they have projected the various kind of ideas that were needed to build and on a construction things. And mechanical engineering this year has conducted a hackathon in terms of what, in terms of what robotics and other things. So again, I am proud to say that Department of Mechanical Engineering, first in the state of Telangana and in the state of Andhra Pradesh, that has came forward to conduct a hackathon to showcase that hackathons are not properties of CSE allied branches. In the month of February, FIGLI, Department of FIGLI, that is Electrical Engineering Department, is hosting a hackathon here. So I request all the students who came from various institutions, you try to forward this message to your institutions. Definitely we will be forwarding our brochure. So try to see that your students of electrical engineering comes and participate in this hackathon. And also, in terms of not only the IEEE, we have got somewhere about 10 to 12 professional chapters, and last year these professional chapters have conducted 76 events, and somewhere about 30 technical clubs spanning about all engineering departments, and they have conducted 90 events. And also we have got Anurag Toastmasters Club and Anurag TEDx, and also Anurag Satellite Club, which just now the Anurag Palla has mentioned the achievements of the Satellite Club. And also we have got the other clubs, music club, we call it as Alam, and also the photography club, Click Addict, and also we have got the other arts club. In addition to that, we are also strong in sports. Our students have gathered or obtained so many medals in terms of national levels, in Kho-Kho, and also various things. There are many things, I don't want to name them. And also we have got a strong NSS and NCC. Our NSS students, every year they are representing at January 26th parade. Even this year also, one student got selected from the entire Telangana and he is representing the January 26th Republic Day parade. So we are always proud that our students are moving ahead, and it is all possible because the management and the leadership believes that only 40% the student can learn from the day-to-day classrooms. Remaining 60% they will be learning like this industry summits or maybe whatever it may be, the other activities. Then coming to the Anurag University, last year, I say that the School of Engineering, in the case of NIRF ranking, we have got in the rank band of 150 to 200. This year, because of all these activities, our rank has been increased from 100 to 150. So I am really proud to say that the School of Engineering is progressing well. And also our placements are also good. Somewhere about 1,500 plus placements we have achieved last year, and also we are nearing that kind of placements even this year. Even though there is a slump, our people say that there are not good number of placements in the entire sector, but anyway we are also trying to grab good number of placements. Not only in CSE branches, even in other core branches also, our students are performing well. And the Anurag University itself has got NIRF ranking of 150 to 200, and also pharmacy has got an NIRF ranking of 78. So I am really proud to say that the university is progressing well. And also Times has given its own ranking. That ranking is of Telangana institutions. We bagged 1 in terms of infrastructure and bagged 1 in terms of research, and also bagged 2 or 3, I am not remembering, in terms of placement. So I am really proud to say that the Anurag University is progressing well. This is a very report I would like to say to all the presenters here. And one advice to all students is, there are good experts are here, but I have not named all because already Anurag Palla has named all, so that you try to interact them after the panel discussion. after the everything, you try to interact them and try to gather how much knowledge you can gain. And finally, I thank the Santoshi Madam and IEEE team for organizing these events. And to my knowledge, the IEEE is, I think so, in the last 2 to 3 years, we have, I think so, from IEEE societies, we have got somewhere about $6,000 to $7,000 of funds. I am really happy that the IEEE student members and also the branch counselors or faculty members are really working hard to take forward this. And I request all industry people to give support to Anurag University wherever it is possible, so that your ideas and our student enthusiasm will definitely take forward. And one more final event I would like to say one thing here. In the last 3 years onwards, we are organizing an event called Tejas. 25, Tejas 24, and we are going to organize Tejas UK26. In Tejas, what we do is, we collect all the innovative ideas from the students, and they need to showcase on the January 26th. Somewhere about last year, 250 innovative ideas, not only ideas, they need to project the implementation also. Somewhere about 250 or maybe 270 innovation ideas they have displayed, and finally from there somewhere about 68 to 70 have got the patent rights. And also what we are doing is, we are calling the nearby schools, children, and also come and participate. Last year somewhere about 60 students, 60 different school children came and saw our exhibition, and finally the students also getting motivated by that, and all transport for the schools and everything is arranged by the management. And one more thing here I would like to say here is, we have got an NSS. Usually in the 3rd year, as per UGC, there is an NSS section class, 1 hour they need to take for NSS, but the management said you can take classes, but all sections should go 1 day visit to nearby villages. So all our students will go to nearby villages. They will see what are the problems they are facing. Civil engineering students will see how the roads are there, how the water problem is there, how the water leaking is there. So that with these things, they are trying to be able to project what in Tejas, some good ideas and some good innovations. So I am really thankful to the management and the leadership for encouraging the students in such a great subject. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your words have truly inspired us.
It is now time for the most prestigious segment of this inaugural session, the Chief Guest Status.
Mr. Dasarada R. Gure, sir, is a pioneer of India's real estate industry and a successful serial entrepreneur who found and led companies like Softtronics, ATAI, Makuta, VFX, Qt Solutions, Qualcomm Logic, Pacific Semiconductors, and Ineda Systems. As CEO of Invicas, Sir built it into a global leader in foundation IP, mixed signal IP, and ASIC solutions.
We are truly honored to welcome Mr. Dasarada Gode sir, Corporate Vice President at Cadence Design Systems and founder of Veda IIT, a visionary leader in semiconductor research and innovation.
We request you to kindly address the gathering.
Good morning, respected dignitaries and also the students. And actually, my talk is not on the technology right now today, but it's very kind of inspiring people are talking about right now. In 1994, I designed a controller for basically satellite GPS controller for navigation. So for that is what I was working in R&D for CPAS and I'm recollecting all my 4 days. And I was very happy to see this program. And other thing is that a lot of eminent professors are here and they will talk about all the technologies. But one thing I want to talk about all the students, basically how do you go and how do you manage your future going forward. Everybody said that we are behind industry. Actually, industry is behind technology. So there is so much you can lead. Okay, that the technology today, you can learn better than industry the technology. When I studied, we didn't have power in my village. So practically, without power, we studied some remote village in Karnataka. Okay, and today, I manage 0.14 nanometer technologies for the world globally. And there are the two companies, both the Cadence and Synopsys, they are also the foundation IP. It's a building block for anything you do in semiconductors. Very difficult for universities to get even access to this technology. I can assure you, I'll make sure that Anurag University gets that one. Because anything you guys need, I'm more than happy to support. So one thing I'm very glad to say it also. I'm very impressed with your management. And both Rajesh Reddy sir and Nilma madam and Anurag, a couple of times I met, and you're very lucky. And also that other universities also, that Ottoman College, my brother's charter studies, and Vignan, I was also part of it, and JNTU, I'm part of it, and also other universities also, all came. It's very nice of you, and well connected all the names that sir mentioned. Pretty much I'm somehow connected. But one thing though, that it all depends upon your activity, your focus. When I studied, actually, we didn't have any guidance. All I know is at that time, if I become an electrical engineer, I get a free movie and all. That's a nice respect in the city. That's what I know. That's why I decided to become an electrical engineer. And when I graduated electrical engineering, there is no jobs at that time. Then I moved to Bombay, thinking that I'll do PhD in IIT Bombay. And with some guidance, and I joined Mazganda, which is a warship building. As my first project was INS Ganga in Godavari. And I was working with a lot of scientists and industry people that to install all missiles and any technology they need. That's the time I felt that, okay, we are far behind in technology in India. And I thought that I'll go and study and come back. I talked to my captain and asked him for permission to go and study in US. And so luckily I got it. And I moved to US. And the only thing I thought about it is semiconductor is the best thing. I started the semiconductor part of the journey. Zero knowledge. You have all people in the US. If you want to get into semiconductor at the time, minimum is master's or PhD. Without that one, you won't get entry. That too, it is a top university. Me getting it in the semiconductor, everybody said it's impossible. I was lucky. I was kind of persistent and focusing on that one. I need to learn. I need to go back. Concept is I need to learn and go back to India and start myself. So luckily I got it. Within 2 years time frame, I was heading the company which I was working, Seco Epson. Most of the PhDs I used to hire. And it doesn't matter what brand at the MIT or Stanford, everybody. I looked at it. It's just, they're all studied as R&D point of it, some technology side, but focus comes to like how focused you are. I learned from Navy. That's the difference. I can showcase it. All the students here also, that don't think that you don't have anything. You have something, and people coming from different places. The focus is number one. Your career is in your hands. Definitely you can make it. No, it's not. Nowadays, the technology is very easy to learn. When we started semiconductor design, it's all schematic based. There is no language. The language actually we learned, and at the time I felt that I should bring the language first. Actually, in fact, world's first processor, it's called fusion processor, is developed in Hyderabad. Actually, in AMD. And AMD acquired my company and we built here. Not in US, not in other places, actually in Hyderabad. Not many people know about it. It's most advanced process as done here. And today I'm very glad or very happy to say that India is almost in number 2 position in design. 30 years ago, zero. 30 years ago I thought about it and built something, and to build it in semiconductor side, thinking that India needs it. And now with a lot of people like Anurag management and all, there are many other places also is there, but people are looking at it, and India has the power. And I'm hoping that all of you get into that, and focus is that don't look at it as a kind of service jobs, look at it as technology jobs. Build something which India can use it also. In last 30 years, I was very, very focused on building a technology and not just jobs. Technology-based jobs is my criteria. If it is a service-based, you can build very big companies also. I have an opportunity, but I'm very happy, satisfied today. Whatever we have done it so far in 30 years in India, and today we are number 2 in the world, we can say, and confidently can say in design part of it number 2. And hopefully we want to be number 1. And in future also for execution point of it, very soon, in another 5 years we'll be number 1. And for design concepts also, if we can be number 1, we'll be very happy. And coming to the semiconductor part of it, for next 20-30 years, I don't see anything wrong in it, but definitely there is a good jobs. I came from there, and for last almost more than 40 years I'm working in semiconductor consistently, and before that it's a long experience. But all of you can focus on whatever the technology that you are working on it. How do you think about it? Advancing is very important. Okay, so jobs don't look at a short-term point of it, look at it what will make a long-term point of it. Throughout the life we have to work. There is nothing like a short-term working on it. Like it's not, look at it what makes in not today, but next 10-20 years. That's where you feel that, okay, instead of rushing it and taking any job, take the right job. Okay, and we are all here, particularly from my side of it, both from Veda or in Cadence or our industry point of it, more than happy to support any students, anything needed, particularly in the technology, advanced technologies, which is no access to the, even today, I'm an advisor to UCLA. Today also I'm part of the body over there. Even they don't get the technologies. So first thing I did, that after taking the role in charge of foundation IP, I contacted them and kind of enabled them to do the advanced designs. I'm happy to say again, please work with it, and with the management, we are happy to support management and to provide anything you guys need. Thank you very much.
Thank you so for energizing us with your perspective and encouraging each student to think beyond.
We now move to the moment of honor as we felicitate our esteemed chief guest, acknowledging his distinguished contributions and presence today. I invite Dr. J.B.R. Ravindra sir, Mrs. S. Nilima ma'am, Professor V. Vijay Kumar sir to kindly offer a token of appreciation as a gesture of our deep respect.
happy. Any student, any help needed for education point of it. I'm very fond of it, and I know a lot of people think that we are coming from remote places, we may not have enough opportunities, but it's not true. So we do have opportunities as long as we focus on. So again, don't give up, and we are here to support anyone needs help. Thank you.
To continue the technical brilliance of today's session, I now take the privilege of inviting our first keynote speaker, Mr. Rupesh Gandupalli sir, CEO Excellence Space Lab, to share his expert insights with us.
Mr. Rupesh Kumar Gandupalli sir is the co-founder and CEO of Excellence Labs Private Limited, Hyderabad, where sir leads cutting-edge innovations in satellite and space technologies. Sir also serves as a founding member and Senior Vice President of Strategy and Global Operations at Antares Space, USA.
I would like to thank Anurag University, IEEE, for having me here. So today, last week I talked about the small satellites and the miniaturization. So last time, so let me introduce myself. I am Rupesh Gandupalli. I am the co-founder CEO of Excellence Space Labs. So before Excellence Space Labs, we founded back in 4 years back. So I have a little bit experience working with NRSA, National University. After my graduation, I joined as scientist, NRSA. But like my education, I'm more of a aerospace and mechanical engineer. I want to pursue my career in the aerospace industry. I moved on from NRSA and then I joined a company called IoT Enterprise in Hyderabad. I started my career from Hyderabad. I did my master's from NIT Varangal. Then I joined IoT Enterprise and now they call it Science. So I worked with Science, then moved to US for working with gradually aircraft engineers. Then I moved to Bay Area, and all my friends like me live in Bay Area and they used to ask me to come to Bay Area. So I applied for a job with Applied Materials, which is into the nano semiconductor manufacturer. So I joined with Applied Materials and I was there with Applied for a couple of years. Then I joined Apple. I was heading the product design team, Mac Mini, and then I moved into the LPI, the new product introduction operations, to bring the design into the manufacturer. I was with Apple for 8 years. I thought like I escaped from space, but then I met with a gentleman called Will Marshall, happened to be the CEO of Planet Labs. He worked he's from Will and his team Rafi. They both are from NASA Ames. So their concept is always about them being part of the NASA, seeing all that missions where like the satellites used to be more than a ton class capacity, technology. So their vision is always about bringing the
university concept called constellation, miniaturization, and then bring that same functionality instead of one big satellite, make them split them into multiple satellites, bring the same functionality into space. Such a way, they can achieve two things. That's what they believe in. One is when I met Will Marshall, what he told me was like, why he wants to make the satellite smaller. Two things he explained: how the space industry is missing the big time opportunity in actually adopting the neighboring industry technology development. What he explained to me was typically space being in industry where there's a thing called recall. Once you put the satellite into space, even something doesn't work, nothing we can do about it, because we can't bring it back to the ground and then do the retrofit and then put it back. So traditionally the industry stuck with adopting the same technology being tested, working, and then continue to iterate the design very minimally, not to bring the new technology and new chips into the system basically. What that means is, what he explained to me was, if any new mission started, that means that technology, whatever being verified and validated, is already 5 to 6 years old technology. From the time we start the mission, it takes about 5 more years. So total 10 years is what it takes to get the technology into space, and then once you put the technology into space, you are stuck with operating for 10 more years. So by the time actually you get to start operating the satellite, it's already 7 to 8, 10 to 12 years old technology. The ROI by operating satellite is much smaller compared to bringing the new satellite. So that is the mission, that is the thought process what these founders came up with, and this whole miniaturization of satellite and bringing the satellite into a constellation instead of one satellite, it used to be pretty much university concept. So they want to bring in the concept into the reality, into the production, to demonstrate that this miniaturization can be adopted to actually address the problems that were what you defined basically. So they came up with a bold idea of because typically as somebody mentioned, in Uttarakhand when the flood happened and the event happened, so while that big satellites been operated, but these satellites are not really in use or useful at the time it's required basically, because it's only one satellite, and then the event happens some other time when the satellite is somewhere else basically. So their thought process, by bringing in the multiple satellites, they want to achieve that scanning the entire world every day, so that we have that all the data map every day, irrespective whether the event happens, the event doesn't happen. So any incident happens, the data will be accessible to anybody in the world. Their mission is to make the data accessible to anybody in the world who has just a credit card. Just key in the lat longs and then get the key in the coordinates of the location what we want to leverage the data, and then get the data basically. So with that concept, Planet Labs put out a bold mission of launching 104 satellites, the smallest satellite possible that has the capability to send some photons from the space, from the ground. That means a smallest form factor that can actually create a meaningful image that can be leveraged is what they know we can try to design basically, and that's what we launched. And the idea is to to make data accessible and iterate the design just to improve the specifications and then prove the concept of miniaturization into production basically. So that's where I learned about this whole concept of small satellites. They call it the big opportunities, but I call it the big missions basically. Now I'll tell you how that evolved, the concept of small satellites evolved from talking about the big opportunities to big missions. So if you look at that, just I'm trying to put a perspective here to just explain and then put the perspective here. Why this whole miniaturization, thought process evolved in the university to start with, and then picked up the industry. So traditional space typically used to be funded, managed within the government agencies, and now this new space is all about the private and government funded, because the use cases are evolving, the commercialization of the space is evolving, and the satellite launched primarily for the military and scientific purposes. But now that besides the military, the commercial usage also picked up, like Starlink program and then Earth observation. So, and then space used to be traditionally like, owned and managed within the very limited number of countries like US, Europe, Israel, India, Japan and China. But now like with this whole, the whole domain of space being seen as very strategic for any country and for various reasons. One being with all these latest geopolitical situations, how they are shaping up. The thing that concern being well understood by every nation defense without having like the presence and their engagement and involvement in the space, literally like managing the defense on the terrestrial is literally shooting in the dark. So as you can see that traditionally the way the thought was used to be, entire rocket used to be like taken up by the one satellite. So you can see that the satellites by nature they are very heavy and bigger. The entire rocket used to take can accommodate one satellite. But now the use case is they want to put more satellites on one rocket by actually miniaturizing the satellites into smaller satellites. So now in the traditional world, each satellite used to manage and operate only one payload. So the satellite used to have only one function. But now that new ask is to have like multiple payloads operate to that like same bus platform can be leveraged to like bring in multiple functionality. It's a multi-purpose satellites that can actually host and operate multiple satellites on the same bus. So by doing that, I think like the idea is to bring down the development cycles from 5 to 10 years to less than 3 years. And then of course the economy would be actually by leveraging this more innovative technology, onboarding into the space technologies, that economic boosting is being predicted to go up to 1 trillion. So if you look at that, the Planet as the company where I was part of that, so the idea was to build a mission that will image the entire every point of every day. So and also the idea is to make the one thing I got excited while I was working with Apple when I met with Bill Marshall. All these satellites are going to build within downtown San Francisco. What that tells is that they are talking about really small satellites. Typically satellites manufacturing like URSC, things like that, like very big labs and like very sophisticated equipment required to assemble and test it and integrate. But the idea was to build these satellites in downtown San Francisco, not 104 satellites. Just keep. So this is the smallest form factor, which is about 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter, 30 centimeter, of less than about 5 kg mass. So this has the capability to capture about 3.75 meters resolution data, and that's what we launched about 450 satellites because every satellite. So if you all remember, like there is one rocket was launched by PSLV. That was that was C-37 back in 2017. ISRO launched highest number of satellites ever on one rocket, one globe. Out of 104 satellites, 88 satellites are brought to India to launch from PSLV, India. So because by nature these satellites have the lifetime up to 3 to 4 years. So to just bring in the same SLA, same functionality to continue service the customers. So we kind of replenish the satellites multiple times. So far that Planet Labs, they launched about 450 satellites till date. And you can see that these many satellites, how we used to build and then keep them on the inventory to get the launch opportunity, launch it and then operate and get the data. I can tell one thing about Planet Labs, because of this constellation and the miniaturization, and irrespective of the data required or not, they scanned all the data. When you talk about the Pahalgam, when you talk about surgical strike, when the incident happened, Planet is the only company in the world which can provide the data before and after the event. Because typically other satellites, they typically as you demand, they toss the location, take the picture. But Planet is the one company in the world where in respect to whether the requirement is there or not, they simply scan it. So any incident happens, if they want to know what has happened before and after, if Planet is the only company can provide the data, that should be helpful to understand the disaster, and quantifying and then do the risk mitigation. And Planet is a very pioneer in building this constellation, and that's what is adopted by the Starlink, the SpaceX Starlink program. As you can see it here, before Planet Labs, there was no constellation as a concept ever launched, except Iridium is one constellation of 5 satellites. But Planet Labs is the one payload demonstrating the constellation as a concept, which is adopted by the Starlink, the SpaceX program. As you can see now, they are launching 10,000 satellites, and now they're still launching more and more to actually cater the internet needs worldwide. So just to put the perspective, what is that miniaturization into the space in the space sector, making the small satellites? If I just want to compare between the two satellites, there's a Cartosat-2 EO spacecraft, which is about 680 kg class, 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters size, sub 1 meter resolution, and the cost is about 6,000 crores. And we are building a satellite, similar resolution compared to the Cartosat, which is the 85 kg class, which is almost 1/8 of the size. And if you can see the size, it is about less than a meter. So we got most reforms Government of India brought in to actually industrialize the space, to actually provide the access to the production of the satellites to industry. There was first RFP was put out through NSIL, and we won that with major portion of that satellites. So we are building the engineering from the satellite order to build and launch about 15 satellites with the partnership on technologies. So we have submitted proposal as a consortium between engineering and other technologies, and we are on track to build. We are scheduled to build 15 satellites in the next 2 years. So from the miniaturized circuits point of view, what that means, right? Just to put, I'm not getting into technology because I'm asked not to get into technology. Just to put the perspective in terms of the sizes, how these boards being the circuit boards and this whole, the modules are getting miniaturized. As you can see it here, this is the complete avionics of the entire satellite with the redundancy, 1-to-1, board. And same thing with the power storage device. We have this miniaturized module with redundancy, with 1-to-1 board redundancy, can store the overall power up to 1.2 kilowatt hour. So what is the new space mission demands, right? So by nature, the new space demands operating the satellites with high agility, and and also onboard the high-speed computer navigation to process the data onboard itself, rather downlinking the data to the ground and then facilitate the data processing, so that you can get the real-time insights while it is the data being captured in space. And also more and more software-defined satellites. When I say software-defined satellites, it is basically making the software definition from the ground up, meaning from the bottom up, making all the subsystems software-defined, so that overall system is software-defined. So to actually achieve this demand and this ask, to bring in the satellites more and more operational agility, and then onboard the high compute modules, and also make this overall satellite software defined, where you have the option to iterate the software and then applying the software to operate better. And also by nature, space being a domain, though it looks very interesting and very exciting, but space is the one sector where we don't have the volume. When we don't have the volume in terms of the component level R&D and then the development would not take place. Where what the option is adopting these chips being developed into the neighboring industry the consumer electronics and the automotive industry into the space sector. And we know how to qualify them on the ground and before we launch it. So we just adopt these technology development coming from this automotive and the consumer electronics, where the volumes are there, R&D budgets have been there. So we adopt them and then like bring them into our designs and make them functionally work, qualify for the space rate, and then like launch into space. Just going back to my previous slide, so just to support the transition from the traditional and the resistance to space. So XGDC is committed to like miniaturize the circuits and the subsystems. So overall size of the satellite will come down, and also make the things more and more software defined. So like we can bring in the AI compute technology on board into the satellite, so that like the data, we can actually avoid that like downlinking the data, but rather like process the data on board and then send the only usable data to the end user. And also like this will make it more modular, help us to bring that satellite to space quick, and then like these are more of tunable to address multiple use cases, and also like bringing in the global collaboration into the technology development. So that's all I have. Thank you once again. Thanks for the opportunity. By the way, when I met with Anurag, Savna, and Dr. Santosh ma'am, I thought like typically people do say that startups have a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, and passion, but when I saw Anurag and Dr. Santosh ma'am, I think they are more excited and passionate than what we show on the other day. Thanks for everything.
Thank you, sir. Your insights have added immense value to this dialogue. We now request all the participants to kindly proceed for the tea break for 15 minutes. After tea break, we'll have a keynote and enriching segment of the forum, the panel discussion, where all the students are encouraged to participate. The next session will resume at 11:45. Kindly be seated on time.
Students, kindly be seated till the guests leave the hall. Please be seated. Let's allow the guests first leave the hall. Be seated till they leave the hall. You can use this exit. Students can use this exit. The time is 11:20, so kindly come back at 11:35. 15 minutes break. You can have tea. It's there in the lobby outside. Have your tea and come back. We have one more interesting keynote and panel discussion where all the dignitaries will be on.
during which Sir has worked in semiconductor design, communication systems, avionics, embedded systems, wireless technologies, and other areas. Sir holds a master degree in electrical engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, India. Sir holds 22 US patents, contributes to IEEE standards development.
All right, thanks very much, everyone joining here. Great initiative from Anurag University to have this interaction. You know, I've been in the electronics industry for 40 years. I studied in JNTU Hyderabad. Professor Mangal Gori was my senior. Professor Nidima was many years my junior. So we all have our grounding in the core electronics area from a good institution, and all of you also are getting a good foundation in electronics from a good institution. And we can do a lot from having the right foundation. We also heard today, some pretty nice pieces of information. I wouldn't call it advice. Professor Ravindra said that to achieve something complex, do something complex. Don't just do something simple. Because complexity is where it brings all your talent and all your knowledge into it. You also heard your Vice President Anurag talk about the fact that you have to be aware of what's going on in the industry. And programs like these, occasions like these, give a very valuable opportunity for you to understand what different industries are doing. It's a competitive world. There's a lot of technology happening. There are thousands and thousands of students or ECE graduates coming out every year. But when I look at my experience over the last 30 years of hiring people, and when I talk to all my colleagues here, the feeling, the situation is very similar. I ask them, do you need talented engineers for your work? The answer is yes. When I ask, are you able to find talented engineers to do what you want? The answer is always no, not enough. Not that engineering graduates are not there, but engineers, the way engineer definition is about creatively solving problems using the fundamentals that they have learned, we need more of them. Yeah, plenty, but we need more. And I hope that all of you will also be part of the elite top 10% of engineers who can really be attracted to any company who talks to you should be attracted to you. This person can actually work, create something and solve a problem for us. So we want you all. And one way of doing it is again, like Anurag University has a good impetus for you, is don't just spend time in the classroom, do more. Talk to people, figure out what people are doing, find out what you can do, and be little bit different from all the other graduates that are coming up. How can you be different? Is by doing something which is not exactly in the curriculum. If everybody follows the curriculum, everybody will be the same. And we know that that is not enough. We want to do more. Okay, so today I am going to talk a little bit about my area of work in our company, so that you understand something about different companies, what they do, and how what you are studying is important for the industry. Very often students don't feel whether they are studying something useful or not. And if they feel that it is not very useful, they will write the exam, pass, but next semester completely blanked out. But from all of this, you will understand that something of what you are studying, it's useful. So therefore, you will imbibe it. And therefore, by imbibing, you will be different from other thousands of ECE graduates coming out. Right? So we want you to be different. All right, so I currently work in a company called Silicon Labs. I'm wearing another hat. I'm also the secretary of the IEEE Hyderabad section, and this is an IEEE event. How many of you are IEEE members? Excellent. Okay. And the rest of you who are not members, you are missing out something. Join IEEE. Be part of it. You will meet a lot of people. You will understand more. You will stand out. And that's why when core companies come, they interview 100 people, 100 students, and give offer to 3 people. Which is very common. I've also seen it. You should be one of those. So do whatever you can to do it. All right? Okay. So, but a little bit about what Silicon Labs does. We do semiconductor chips. There are lots of types of semiconductor chips. The type of semiconductor chips we do are called wireless microcontrollers. They have microcontrollers, microprocessors. They also have a wireless interface. And we are the leader in IoT wireless connectivity. And what does IoT mean? Internet of Things. We all use the internet. How? The mobile phone, when we use a laptop for sending emails and stuff. Our chips don't go into laptops or smartphones. Our chips go into any other device that has a microcontroller, microprocessor, and wireless, which is everything. Starting from the mouse, your refrigerator, your washing machine, your security camera, your Bluetooth earphones, your ECG machine in the hospital. Okay, even the tire pressure monitor in the car, which senses the tire pressure and communicates via Bluetooth to the car central system. Everything is microprocessor, everything is wireless. And we are the leaders in all of those, which means that it's not just Wi-Fi. We use Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Thread, Zigbee, Z-Wave, Wi-Fi. There are so many wireless protocols for different applications. We are into all of them. We are not doing 3G, 4G, 5G. For that, you have to pay a lot of money to the spectrum. And there are companies which do that. And we also okay, so our company is headquartered in Austin, in Texas, and Dashar today, who spoke to you, okay, he is also a resident of Austin, Texas, a very beautiful place, but that's not what we are here in Hyderabad. And I also used to live in the US long time back, in Silicon Valley actually. And then what we found is, what I found and me and my wife is that wherever you are, if you want to do something interesting, you can do. When your family is there, your universe is complete. When you have meaningful work to do, you need meaningful work which will stimulate you. You need an environment that is peaceful. You can get it anywhere, and you can be successful anywhere. Right? So we did, but we have the largest development center here in Hyderabad. It's even bigger than the headquarters in Austin, because here we have passion, we can grow, and once we identify the right engineers and do something, they always deliver. We have had engineers whom we selected, within 1 year they have even filed a patent. Okay, so whenever there's a good atmosphere, people succeed, but they can succeed if they know the fundamentals. So we select the students who are very good at their fundamentals. Alright, so I'll use this. Okay, so let's start with how things were when we finished college, what were electronic circuits looking like. There was a huge emphasis on analog electronics. There were sensors, and sensors would be processed by transistor circuits and op-amps and filters, and then they would do something. It would be like opening a door. It would be like complex things like setting, a series of valves in a factory so that the fluid flows properly. Instead of doing it manually, when people started automating things, they turned to electronics. And then you can sense the flow, and then you can open the thing. You will have a timer and do things. So a lot of things can be done with just analog electronics, which you learn first in your second year. So remember that even what you are learning in the second year, you can create some pretty complex circuits. You can make voice amplifiers, then you can make voice-based systems. You can do a lot of very nice systems using just what you learned in second year, first semester. And you should do it. As we progress, you can do more complex things. You should not imagine that if I have to do electronics, I need Arduino or some kind of a processor. A lot of very cool stuff can be done using just analog electronics, and that is how it was. Okay. Temperature control and water, monitoring, everything was done in analog electronics earlier. And then they became a little bit more complex, then they started using digital logic. One example was a vending machine, which we all have to design when we are learning about programmable logic. The first thing is that design a vending machine. Design a lift control system using just digital electronics. Find out who pressed the button, what number it was pressed, which floor it is in, which floor it has to move to. We have sensors. We have multiple sensors. We have an analog circuit to condition. Any sensor value has to be conditioned in analog circuits. Then you use digital logic. Timers, counters, flip-flops, AND gates, NOR gates, XOR gates. Whenever we interview students, we ask them those questions. Many of them have forgotten because interviews in fourth year, that is second year syllabus. But without all of that, we cannot build any system at all. The whole semiconductor is based on small gates. Whole chip, even if it has a billion transistors, a GPU or anything, can be built using just NAND gates. And for a long time it was being done that. It used to be called a gate array, where using a sea of NAND gates you can build any circuit. Now you have custom circuits where you can specifically design what you want. Okay, that's a fascinating story. And this you learn also in second year or third year. So you can start with something analog and then you can make it, add a digital circuit to it with a timer, counter, flip-flop, shift register, and a state machine. State machine is like software. You have if this, then that, then you go to a different state. If that state is there, then you do this. A lift is a perfect example, vending machine is a perfect example. Okay. So you can actually build state machine based digital circuits, and you should do it. And then came the microprocessor or microcontroller. It actually made things very easy. What is there inside a microprocessor? Digital logic. You have an arithmetic logic unit, you have a program counter, you have memory, you have digital circuits that do handling, you have interfaces. In a microcontroller, you also bring the peripherals inside, like an A to D converter or a D to D converter, timers, power management circuits, and so on. So everything became much easy if you have a microcontroller. So you actually write software, and if the software doesn't work, nothing will work first time. Next time you can change it very easily. If it's a circuit, then you have to go modify the circuit, make a new PCB. We used to do all of that. Then we used to put jumpers. This circuit is correct at this place, and put a wire. One of my first jobs when I joined HL is my boss, he gave me a board which has about 30 different ICs in it and some transistors and everything. He gave me a schematic and a layout and said, this is what this board is supposed to do, but it is not working. You find out why it's not working. So for 1 week, morning to evening, I was looking at it, figuring out, using an oscilloscope, trying to find out. Finally, I found that one chip was not behaving properly. Then I said, okay, this is not working properly. Then he said, you know what we do? There's a very famous scientist called Bob Whitler, okay, who wrote an article about it. He says, this chip gave you so much trouble. So let us desolder it, let us remove it, let us take a hammer and make it into 1,000 pieces. So we took out the chip and broke it into hundreds of pieces. And then we soldered a new chip and everything started working. Right? It was a satisfying end to a 1 week of investigation. Why it did not work? I didn't know anything about it. I was given the task. I had to use all my transistor knowledge, op-amp knowledge, digital circuit knowledge, and figure out how to use an oscilloscope. I used it in the college, but there it is for real. It is not an experiment. What is the settings on the oscilloscope? I have to figure out. So by doing all of that, I realized that whatever I had learned is really useful. You need to build on top of that. Okay, so with microcontrollers, the problem shifts a little bit on the software, but you cannot write that software without understanding the hardware. But it has opened out everything. Anything can be done with a microcontroller, and everybody is familiar with it, thousands of things. And then beyond microcontrollers came something called the IoT. The decision was that you cannot just have one circuit doing something, right? The conditions, so many things depend on it. If you want, there was an thing about having better agricultural productivity. Better agriculture means so many things about what is the state of the plant, what is going to be the power tariff that you are going to pay. Is it going to rain tomorrow or not? If it's going to rain tomorrow, what should you do today? How do you know whether it's going to rain tomorrow? You subscribe to a meteorological forecast. You can of course read the newspaper and then do something. But engineers, we want to automate. We want information coming from everywhere. And that information must actually come and be utilized to make a decision, very intelligent decision, and therefore that's how you improve the productivity. So how do you get information from anywhere? Using the internet. And people don't want to be in the loop. I don't want to read a website saying this is the weather report and then I don't want to do something based on that. I want the system to be automated so that as a farmer I can do something else. Right? So the IoT circuits do that. You have a sensor, microcontroller, wireless connectivity, data going to the cloud. Actually cloud means it's cloudy, you cannot see. Server is there somewhere, I don't know where it is, but it is there. Somewhere it is the server. On server there is some pretty nice software running, which will do some heavy analytics and give some very good decisions. And that increases the probability of doing something. Okay. So today, if you look at any system, any IoT system, it has all of these components: sensing, computing, sensing, computing, wireless connectivity, network protocols. Then you have the cloud computing, data analytics, and as the data becomes larger and algorithms become more complex, people start using artificial intelligence or machine learning, which can help you with creating an algorithm which you otherwise may not have been able to create. Right? And a lot of things is coming down to edge computing. Edge computing means that even without an internet connection, can we do some heavy duty analytics and machine learning at the edge device itself. Okay. If you want to create a doorbell which has a camera, if the camera recognizes your face, then the door will open for you. But what if there is no internet connection? Can the microcontroller itself recognize your image? Or is your software so complex that it has to run on a server? You need to bring something down into the edge. So Silicon Labs today is running something called a wireless edge intelligence challenge, which we opened it out to the whole country. I should have checked. I don't know whether anyone from Anurag had applied for it. We got more than 450 ideas on what kind of edge intelligence solution they would want to create. Out of 450, we interviewed, brought it down to 100, then we interviewed 30 teams, then we selected the top 10 teams, and we gave them boards, we gave them some money, we gave them the workshop, and now they are building it. So in February, when they are ready, we will have a competition. And we are going to do this every year. Okay? It's not a hackathon is one day, but it's over 3 months time we are giving them to create a solution and show it. Right? So edge computing is the next thing. The devices at the edge, the microcontrollers, will take a lot of decisions themselves because of the algorithms that are put inside. Okay? So the microcontrollers itself, when it started out, when you're learning about microprocessors, it only started with the computing part. It has an arithmetic logic unit and some precision logic. A is equal to B plus C. If A greater than 0, do this, else do this. Essentially with that, everything can be done. Everything becomes an algorithm using that. Right? And then they started adding connectivity to it. Connectivity is Wi-Fi, which is wireless, or UART, which is serial, all kinds of connectivity. And then they added security to it because people found that hacking is a big problem now. They don't want your data to be modified by somebody without you knowing it. They don't want your data to be read by somebody else. They don't want your neighbor to open your door. Security became extremely important. So microcontrollers get more and more security in them. And now security is changing. You know that there's something called a quantum computer that is coming up. A quantum computer can actually do thousands of operations in one cycle compared to the traditional computer, because they work with a multitude of data, or a qubit with so many states. But when that happens, they can break security codes much more easily. So the whole world is preparing to counter the quantum computer, which can, decrypt data, which today seems to be secure. So by 2036, all Wi-Fi networks are supposed to necessarily come with quantum security. It's a long time, but it will soon happen. But engineers have to start working today to meet that goal. On the other hand, you have the hackers who continue to, if I get a quantum computer, what kind of networks I can break into? Financial networks, medical records. Both sides are there. So you have to be prepared. And so security at the device level, at the network level, is a big growth area for all of you. And many of you may be working in the security area. The other area is, of course, intelligence. Everybody is talking about AI. Everybody is talking about machine learning. Okay? Why are they doing machine learning? What is the difference? Is that they don't know what to do. Suppose you take a picture of somebody, and then that picture says that, oh, it is person A or person B. In our mind, okay, we know that person, and then, oh, we know it is him. Can we describe how to do it in a program? Can we describe saying that a person's nose is like this? How do you know a person's nose is like this? That the pixels are going here. The width of this eyebrows is so much. So can you write a program, measure the width of his eyebrows and program it? Very difficult. People gave up. Then they found that there is a neural network which is doing something, but we don't know what it's doing. You feed hundreds of images of persons to it, say that this image is this person, this image is not this person. As you keep feeding all of those images, the neural network waits the feedback loop. It will keep converging, and after all the training happens, using a lot of energy, finally the neural networks will actually converge to a particular circuit, which if you give the next picture, will tell with 98% accuracy, yes it is person A, or no it is not person A. And that is why you need machine learning, because many algorithms we cannot write directly. We want to do it, but we cannot write. Somebody is having a cell phone in his pocket. If he falls down, we want to know that he fell down, not that he is sitting down. So what is the difference between falling down and sitting down? The accelerometers will show different kind of values. We don't know exactly how to code it, but you can train it. Right? So more and more circuits are having edge intelligence in them, and that's also something that you will be working on. And you can start working on it right now. What can you do? Which is more complex, more intelligent. Like what Ravindra said, don't just use IoT to turn on a bulb. Use IoT to figure out how many people are there in the room, where are they sitting in the room, and then turn the lights only in those places. A little bit more complex. Okay? You can figure out how many people there are in the room. If you brainstorm, you can do it many ways. You can use a camera, you can use object detection. You can simply use a Wi-Fi analyzer. Everybody's cell phone has Wi-Fi or Bluetooth in it. They keep on sending some signals. If you monitor with a couple of antennas, you can find out from where more signals are coming, how many signals are coming, how many Wi-Fi devices are in the room. Okay, it's easy to find out. You can just be outside the room and find out whether my opponent political party, whether this meeting has 100 people or 200 people, you can find out from the parking lot also. You can do it. Just use the Wi-Fi analysis, look at how many signals are coming. So all of those complex things can be done today using microcontrollers and the right intelligence in them. Okay, and then why do we need so many wireless? You need so many wireless, each wireless has a particular use. Why do we have so many languages? Why can't we just, everybody use French or everybody use English? There are uses for different things. Why are there so many computer languages for different things? Similarly, wireless networks, some of them are short range, like ID card, some of them are long range, tens of kilometers, some of them are low data rate, just for sending small amounts of data, some of them are high data rate for sending videos and so on. Some of them are point-to-point connection like Bluetooth from your phone to your headset, that's it. Some of them are mesh networks like Zigbee or Wi-Fi, all devices connected to all devices. Some of them are star networks like cell phones and Wi-Fi router, where the device, where the signals go to the router and the router will forward it. So all network, why do we need different topologies? Peer-to-peer, because if there are 100 people in this room, all 100 can listen to their headphones by themselves without interference. That's because the power is limited, the range is limited, and the protocol supports a one-to-one connection. If everybody wants to use Wi-Fi, they can all use Wi-Fi going to the router, but the router has to be placed in the correct point, otherwise some corner may not get Wi-Fi. Mesh network solves it by saying that you forward data so that somehow it will reach all the networks. But the problem there is that your device will be unnecessarily using a battery forwarding somebody else's data, not just your data. So every network protocol has advantages, disadvantages, and scenarios where you can use them. So if you're creating a solution, you have a choice of what network protocol to use, what wireless to use, and then you can say that for my idea, this is what is best. And that is what engineers do. For any problem, there are many solutions. Engineers figure out what is the optimum solution for a particular problem. Optimum in terms of cost, in terms of effectiveness. So I was happy to hear that you have some pages kind of idea celebration. So apart from making a technology work, technically work, you also should see whether it has a market. What is the business aspect? How much does it cost? How much people are willing to pay for it? If you give them a survey saying that if I have this product, how likely are you to purchase it if it is costing 8,000 rupees? How likely you are to, if it is 800 rupees? You look at a market survey. You look at it beyond a technical solution, make it a market-worthy product. And India wants more product designers here. Okay, we have enough people, which is also important, who someone in the US can say this is what we are doing and actually do it. But we also want people here who will decide this is what is going to be very important in the market 4 years from now. So let me start working on it. Let me be the first to come to the market with this product. Let me be different compared to anybody else in so many ways. Okay? We can do it. We want more people to think about products right from the beginning. Alright, so I will skip this. This is how the data flows through the microcontroller. But eventually when you design a microcontroller, there are certain, it's called, you combine it with certain other peripherals, like the wireless subsystem, okay, and sensors if you want, and it becomes something called a system on chip, SoC. System on chip is like what I said, we had a big board with so many chips on it, everything becomes one chip. And that is why I shifted from electronics to the VLSI area. Because I was very discouraged by saying that I spent so much time creating this big board with a frequency synthesizer here, an analog amplifier here. Suddenly there's one small chip which does everything. So the design is going miniature. Miniaturization will continue. Okay, and there's a lot of things that you want to do, but inside the chip, complete range of electronics is there. If you look at what is there in the microcontroller, you have a CPU. The CPU is the one which was originally the microprocessor, which will go through some code and then it will run each opcode, it will fetch data from memory, it will then decode that instruction, then it will fetch some data from memory and do the addition and write back into memory. All that is done in the CPU, the actual microprocessor. Then you have flash memory in which you store your programs, you have SRAM memory in which to store variables. If you declare a C variable I, which is integer, it uses some memory in the SRAM. Okay, so you need SRAM. Then you need timers. I want to do something. Okay, after 10 minutes I want to do something else. You can set off a timer. You have interfaces like USB interface, UART interface, I2S interface for audio, and then you have some analog peripherals like ADC or a DAC. You can generate different clocks using a PLL. All of them are there. And then if you want to do a Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth interface, you have a wireless subsystem. You know that a lot of processing that is needed for receiving a signal. You receive signal from the antenna, then you amplify it. Now you have it demodulated. Those who are in the third year would have learned about digital communication, right? PSK. How many of you know what is PSK? Phase shifting. Huh? You learned about it, right? So how do you decode that? You can either decode it by analog means. You can also decode it in digital means. That means that once you sample a signal, a continuous signal, it becomes a digital version of that signal, which is a discrete signal. If your signal has a bandwidth of 20 megahertz, you should sample it more than, if the signal is 50 megahertz bandwidth, you have to sample 40 megahertz or higher, right? So then you get 40 megahertz, every 40 megahertz is 25 nanoseconds, every 25 nanoseconds you get another sample of the signal. Now you can do all the processing in a digital domain. Okay, which is what we do. We do a lot of DSP here, and then, but eventually the data is converted to analog before transmission. And if you want to transmit on an antenna, you have to amplify it. It's called a core amplifier. We use a class AB amplifier. Some cases you can use a class C amplifier. There are all of why you learn about different types of amplifiers. They are also there in this. Then you have a PLL for generating clocks. It has both a digital divider as well as a voltage control oscillator, the analog and digital in it. Then a lot of things we do for power management. You are getting a battery, you have to use minimum current out of it. How do you use minimum current? In a house, if you have some 5 rooms, in whichever room you are not there, we switch off the light. Same thing here. If you are not utilizing a portion of the circuit, you should switch it off. How do you decide whether that portion is needed or not? That is based on how your program is running, what is the state of your system. Is it connecting to a router, or it's connected, like your cell phone is 99% idle. Only once in a while, unless I'm on a call, it's just idle. Right? That's why it lasts for a long time. Battery will last for a long time because many portions of the device are turned off. So you can decide, you should decide at any given time. You have written the program. So I am using only this part. What happens in that part I am not bothered about right now. Can you go and power it off? Can you then resume it later when you need it? So that is, in fact, that has not only become a nice thing to do, but it has become essential. If you take many of the new processing chips, they have areas in they call it dark silicon. Now I am saying that if you are not, if in a building there are some 5 floors, or in some floors which nobody is there, you turn off the light. But if everybody is there, the building has a capacity for lighting all the rooms. But many of the new chips that are coming, they are consuming so much power that they cannot turn on everything. Necessarily, some parts have to be turned off. Those part is called dark silicon. Because we have solved the miniaturization problem. Circuits are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. We have not solved the power dissipation problem. They burn energy, like one kilowatt of power. You cannot go anywhere near it, and you cannot work if you don't cool it. So they are thinking about cooling it with water, like your car engine. But a water will short circuit this thing, right? Water can conduct. So they are actually putting on top of the chip, they put one metallic device which is hollow. Inside it, they pump water and remove water. Now people are thinking about using other liquids which will not short the circuit. Can we put the whole board in that liquid and let that cool it? The problem has become so intense that if you don't solve the cooling problems, you cannot increase computing power. Simple as that. So there are lots of engineers working on how to cool. There are lots of engineers working on how to provide a better battery. So in electronics, there are so many areas in which problems need to be solved. And who's going to solve it? All of you. Okay? It's not next 10 years, it's all yours. And if you are to be part of that solving the problem, you should start off by understanding all the fundamentals of electronics so that anything you do, the physics part of it, the electrical part of it, the mathematical part of communications, you're ready for all of that. Okay? So what did we do in our chip? Okay, we have a chip called the SIWG917, which is a Wi-Fi chip. And we wanted, this chip is the world's lowest energy consuming Wi-Fi chips. We have customers who use this chip in a, say, smart door lock application, where the battery will last 2 times more than with any other chip in the industry. So we worked a lot to reduce the average power consumption of this chip, keeping it connected. Okay? When you are not connected, what can you turn off? When you are connected, what can you turn off? So we came up with a chip architecture, an SoC architecture, which has lots of areas in which power can be controlled specifically. Okay, so you can see, I mean, it's too small to see for some of you. Okay, different colors are meaning that different areas which have a different power domain. That means that that part I can turn off. But this is a simplistic view. Inside it, we can turn off even more. So as engineers, we want to know that somebody who is using a smart door lock based on our chip will want 1 year battery life compared to 6 months battery life, which is seeing today. What should I do at my circuit level to make that dream come true? Then we had to work on all of this. We filed many patents also on this, and eventually came up with a chip that is better than what anybody else did. And all of this were designed here in Hyderabad with engineers from many of the local colleges. And as long as we have a vision, we can do it. Okay? And you can also do it. And if you want to use that chip, we have a development kit available. You can go to our website. It's a IoT kit with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and many sensors built in, like microphone. Okay? Why do you need a microphone in IoT circuits? Okay? So you can get it and do it. All right? So I will skip where we can use it, but if you can go to our website, we will see a lot of things that you can use. And what do we need as a company? We need people who know SoC design, analog design, hardware board design, signal processing, application software, protocol software, cloud software, data analytics, and everything else. All right, so this is my email. Whoever writes to me, I'll definitely write back. Okay? So feel free to reach out to me. And sorry I ran out of time, but I'll be around. We can have a discussion anytime. And I like what Dashrath Gude said, we are all here to help you. We don't refuse help. We only need people who want to do things and therefore will ask us for help. All right? All the best.
Thank you, sir. Your words have truly inspired us. We now move to one of the most intellectually enriching segments of the forum, the panel discussion, which focuses on the theme Miniaturized Circuits and Systems for Small Satellites and Remote Sensing and IoT Connectivity.
We request the moderator, Mr. Preet Yadav sir, Head India Innovation Ecosystems, NXP Semiconductors, to kindly take the dais, and we invite the esteemed panelists.
Mr. Dasratha Gudi sir, Corporate Vice President, Cadence Design Systems, Founder, Veda IIT.
Mr. N. Venkatesh sir, Silicon Labs, Senior Director Engineering, Silicon Labs.
Mr. Rupesh Gandupalli sir, CEO, Exdelink Space Lab.
Mr. Sridhar Godala sir, Senior Hardware Engineering Manager, NVIDIA.
Mrs. Jaya Saxena ma'am, Scientist, SF, NRSC, ISRO.
Mrs. Lavanya ma'am, Senior Analog Design Engineer, Synopsys.
Professor Subbarangaya sir, Director, Veda IIT.
Mr. Narendra sir, Director, Synopsys.
Now I hand over the stage to Mr. Preet Yadav sir to introduce the panelists and take forward the panel discussion. request Satish Dhawan sir to join us on the stage, General Manager of Anand Technologies.
Here's the device. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me well? So we are just 25 minutes than the time we planned for, but we'll try to wrap up fast. So thank you so much for staying back for this particular panel, and I'm really delighted and all-whelmed with such a vast variety of panel members with us today. And what all I could say is that on the stage you can see 200 plus years of experience put together with all the members, sitting here. So, it would be exciting to hear back all the, good experiences they have from their diverse, background. So it's not only that 200 years of experience, but it is the diverse experience in different, walks of semiconductor and electronics. I'm losing out the audio. Okay, great. So the way we want to run this panel is, can I get the hand mic instead? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, great. So the way we want to run this panel is, we'll start with the opening remark from each of the panel members here. They would introduce the domain they have worked on and their take on the semiconductors. What next? Okay, so we'll be focusing largely on the semiconductor, but in general touching about the different segments of this whole electronic era. And post that, I'll have a 1 to 2 round of questions to put in support to each of the panel members here. And at the end, we'll open this forum for any of the questions from the audience. Okay. To start with, I would request Mr. Gore. So we call him JD. In the industry, everyone knows him. With the name JD. He's corporate vice president at for the Cadence R&D based out of San Jose, and he's founder of Veda IIT and has been driving force building cutting edge designs, ecosystem, and inspiring many of us, within the industry and within the academia sphere, to share his opening remarks. Mr. Jerry.
Thank you. No, a few things I'll tell you that what Hyderabad did it, or in my group in Hyderabad did it. All of you must be using the Sony PlayStation or Nintendo or an Xbox. All the processors for this one is all developed from Hyderabad only. So a lot of people may not be thinking that it is somewhere developed it. It is a most advanced technology. We used it and we built it from a concept all the way. Everything is done. Okay, and that is the one thing that you have to understand, that Hyderabad is very advanced, and this is the first thing I did when I basically managing the AMD R&D, and we built all this is the new business segment, we created it, and right now they are the leaders in the world market. And the other thing what we did it also, all of you must have seen nowadays all the visual graphics, Bahubali, RRR. It's all, I started a company called Mokuta VFX, and I was working with in the US and with George Lucas, this famous guy. He invited me to his lab, and I've seen it as, I thought that why can't we build it in India? So from Magadira to RRR, every graphics you have seen it is built in Hyderabad only. People will spend tons of money, but with India, we are leaders now in the graphics also. And there are a lot of things that right now it is happening, and it's a creativity point of it, and the execution is the one thing which we did. So again, any aspect, don't think that it is India is behind. India is leading right now in many aspects of it, and Hyderabad is a hub for that purpose. And a lot of people may not be aware of it because we don't announce it. Some of these advanced technologies are confidential, and even we build chips for like what you guys are doing, right from SpaceX to any other company today. But we don't talk because it's a confidentiality point of it. But it is, if you look around that Hyderabad has so many things that you will be more than happy, and we introduce you to whatever it is needed for in general point of technology side of it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wide experience and particularly, to the connection to the city. I remember back in 2017 when we had the VLSA design conference here in Hyderabad, there was a live booth, where this whole Bahubali, graphics were demonstrated. Okay, so let me move forward. I would now request our next panelist who delivered a keynote this morning, Mr. Rupesh, who is the CEO of XD Link Space Labs, pioneer in the miniaturized satellite system and the deep tech, space innovation system, to share his opening remark.
Thank you. I think I went through the profile of what XD Links is all about. I think we are into making satellites. We design our own. We own the complete IP of the satellite design, and also we manufacture. We prototype the entire satellite with all the modules in-house, but we leverage like a lot of infrastructure and collaborating with Anand Technologies in making the satellite realization to make them fully qualified for their launch readiness. So now we are about 150 people. So we are investing, besides like designing the satellite bus platforms ranging between 10 kg class to like 300 kg class, which we believe that will cover 80% of the overall LEO as a orbit use case. Besides like the building the bus platforms, we are also like investing in building the payloads that actually like meets different use cases, primarily in the optical telescopes for the Earth observation, and also like on the RF side, we are building our own SDR miniaturized to actually like have the fully programmable, tunable baseband SDR that can actually convert into various frequency driven radio modules. And also one other technology where we are heavily investing to actually like go after like to achieve the higher data rates, which is E-band, which is like very high frequency band, where like we're trying to target for like achieving up to 100 Gbps because the Ka band is getting crowded. So we are now looking into like working on developing this radio modules on like getting that E-band working, both for the twofold. One is for space to ground and space to space. So E-band recent development from our side. So we developed a very miniaturized, first of its kind E-band payload that to demonstrate, just a baby steps in the process, demonstrate the transmitting the data from space to ground. We successfully developed the payload in-house in Hyderabad and collaborating with a university from Edinburgh, Harriet Watt University, and we fully qualified it and we launched the satellite this January. And this is the very world's first E-band payload-driven satellite we ever launched from the world. So we launched that, and now we are heading towards iterating the design to achieve the higher data rates. So yeah, we are in Madhapur next to Raidurg metro station. So we're happy to collaborate. We met with Anurag University leadership and management. So we are happy to collaborate and bring on some interns and also expose what we're doing. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So we started with with the pointers in graphics towards the satellite. So let me shift gears and towards my left, Mr. Anurag, who's the senior director of engineering at Silicon Labs, and his expertise in the architecture and all the good things he talked in the keynote, has really evolved many different products. So I would request Mr. N. Venkatesh, to share his opening remarks.
Actually, I've already spoken enough, but I want to talk a little bit about why we are here together. Preet actually, he also wears multiple hats. He's not only working in NXP, looking at the innovation ecosystem. The word ecosystem is very important. Okay, Mr. Anurag also spoke to you about the importance of teamwork. How do you work together in a team? We are all from different companies. In some ways, we can even be competitors. But we always get together because we are also a team. We are trying to build the next generation of innovative engineers together. Okay, many of you, we will work with you, we're helping you, we're doing all of this together because we are getting the whole ecosystem to develop. It is not just for personal benefit or our company's benefit. So we are all here for getting the general level of our innovation in our ecosystem to be better and better, and for us to be a great product nation. So hats off to Preet for taking the lead in the CAS globally for doing all of this. Thanks, Preet.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Venkatesh, for your kind words and sharing the perspective. It's not the technology, it's the teamwork, or I would say across domain collaboration, which takes things to the next level. So now let me request Mr. Subbarangaya, who heads the whole initiative of Veda IIT, and I think it's more than a decade-old institution now, to share his opening remarks.
Namaste to all of you. So, as a teacher and as a person working in the industry, I have now nearly 52 years of experience. And I happened to come to Hyderabad on the request of GD way back in 1997. So, his objective was to create an ecosystem where the students can be trained well for the industry that he is running. And we have been in this job for the last 28 years. And we also have an MOU with JNTU, Anurag University, Vignan University, and many others. So in this process, in these last 28 years, we have been training people, recruiting them into our consortium companies. And all of them are finding useful jobs. You can be trained into various domains in chip design, starting from spec to final GDS, whether it is front end, that is design, logic design, or analog design, verification, synthesis, DFT, physical design, physical verification. So all these domains you can get trained through Veda IIT. So all the third year students here can write an examination because Anurag has an MOU. Your fourth year total credits can be earned in Veda IIT, and you will get your normal degree by pursuing your studies at Veda IIT. The thing is that you have to put extra effort to see that you are successful in these tests. As Venkatesh has put it, out of 100, they take 3 people. But in the case of Veda IIT, out of 100, we are hardly getting 1 or 2 people. So that is the level of filtration that is going to be there. Not that we want to filter, we can take as many as possible. Out of 100, even 50 also we can take. But the only thing is, you should come to this some level. Means, you need not be an expert. At least to a level, when we give some inputs, whether you can catch those inputs and solve problems. That is what we are looking for. So, if you are good in this, definitely you can become one of the VLSI engineers or one of the, to any of the companies which the people are talking now, you can join An example is Mr. Sridhar, who is now working in NVIDIA in US. He happened to be, I think, 2004 or 2004 to 6. He pursued his MS in VLSI engineering with Veda IIT. So with these few words, I will now take.
It's all with the no cost to students. So Veda never charges money to the students. It's a free of cost.
That's really great and noble, and we see the live example, joining us on the stage. So let me move forward. Let me request Mr. Satish Javan, who's the General Manager at Ananta Technologies. He's contributing to the mission critical aerospace and satellite hardwares, not only for the nation but for the commercial space as well, to share his opening remarks.
So I am Satish Dhawan. So I am associated with Anant Technologies from past 22 years. So Anant Technologies is a 3 decades old company. So mainly focused to the indigenized technologies. So we are in a space sector and as well as defense sector. So we have been developing a systems and avionics for entire platforms of the defense platforms as well for the space. Space means there is a 3 sectors are there. One is mainly launch vehicle side and satellite side as a ground segment. So even the payloads also, ground payloads as well as onboard payloads. So, and we proudly announced that last month we have opened the Center for the Excellence in Navigation Systems in Tirunanthapuram. So that is the first private owned center in the navigation side. So navigation is a very important key in the space sector as well as the defense, even for civil aviation also. So and another thing, and you all maybe know about the SpadeX program. So this is the SpadeX program where ISRO has launched 2 satellites into the orbit, and they have docked the 2 satellites in the orbit. So these 2 satellites was manufactured in first private owned facility of Anant Technologies, which is located in our Bangalore. So it's an excellent facility is there in Bangalore. And Hyderabad, I am heading the R&D department. So mainly I am the responsible for making the electronics hardware for defense platforms as well as the launch vehicle and space program. We are even working for, even for the startup companies like XD Link and Skyroot, we are giving a technologies and we are associated with them to make their success for India mainly today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ananta. So we have someone who has 50% of the share of the new satellites which will be getting launched in 2026, and then we have on the extreme right who's building those manufacturing those satellites. So I think all of the half of the ISRO things are already on the dice. So let me introduce on my left Dr. Jia Saxena, who's from NRSC ISRO, and who's advancing India's remote sensing capabilities through all of the satellite data. I was chatting with her this morning, and I never knew because sending a satellite up in the system is one thing, but how that satellite is useful, how we extract all the good data and how we make out meaningful things out of the whole data we receive is something which she's pioneering. She's a scientist there, so I would request Dr. Jia to share her opening remarks.
Thank you, sir. First of all, namaste and greetings to my distinguished fellow panelists, the dignitaries of the dais, and dear students. I'm very happy to be here today, and thanks for the management for that. I think I am little out of the box because all are industrialists here, and this side is academia, but I am sitting here to bridge the gap between you two. Because industry wants technology, and academia is providing the students with those skill set, but we are providing the platform to test that skill set and enable yourself to become a part of the industry. I am working as Scientist F and heading the Student Project and Interface Division training group in National Remote Sensing Center, which is a very important center of ISRO, the biggest center for the Earth segment, as already told by my earlier speakers. In space sector, we have space segment, Earth segment, and third is the academia, all of you. So, space segment is responsible for launching the satellites, for first of all making the launch vehicles, the payloads, the fuel part of it, and see that it is launched and placed into the orbit. So most of my industrial partners are working towards that. They are making the payloads, they are making the satellites, both in somebody is working in the communication field, the geostationary, GPS, others are Earth observations. Once the satellite is placed into the orbit, the important part is read the benefit of it, the purpose for which it is placed in the designed orbit. So we download the data, we track the satellite, download the data from that satellite. The data is all digital, you know, matrix of 1 and 0 in that 256 by 256. So what that data speaks about is that data is capturing any feature on the earth, whether it is water body or hills or your urban development or fields, agriculture, etc., or whether it is speaking about the atmosphere, the climate, or it is telling about you about the oceanographic application. So what that data is about, we download that data, convert that data into a usable format, and see that this data is disseminated to the society in the form of different applications. So we at NRSC basically works into the Earth observation satellites, the applications, you know about Bhuvan, Bhunidhi. We provide a platform to the students right from second year. We provide internships, then projects to the final years, also to faculty members, to the research scholars, to work using this satellite data, live satellite data. Part of us is a part of different projects based on your area of interest. If you are from electronics, we'll help you to work out in our RF based systems, antenna based systems, etc. If you are from computer science and allied branches, you are welcome to work with us. Right now morning some of the fellow panelists was talking about that we should just not do some project for the name of doing it. We should see that how it is beneficial for the society. So many of our students have worked for Mahakumbh. When Mahakumbh was there, we have worked about the water quality, about the dissolved oxygen, about the atmospheric pollutants and all that. We work about the agriculture based things. Right now we are developing a geospatial robot in our GD Metla campus. So you are allowed to do projects as per your area of interest with the satellite data available with us. Now much of data is also available in open source as a new space policy, and then make yourself into a valuable citizen, valuable person, so that you can be useful for the industry, for the nation, and for the society, the earth as a whole. Thank you and welcome you all.
Thank you, and I must say that we have diversity on this stage today in terms of the different segments. Someone from satellite, someone from semiconductor, someone from low power area. The other diversity we have is in terms of Dr. Jia rightly pointed out, we have mostly of the industry, but we have the government sector and the education sector as well. And the next diversity which I liked is diversity in terms of genders. Typically I have seen many of the panels I go or events I go, it's like all dominated by single gender. So I would give a big congratulations for Dr. Santosh, particularly putting together this diverse in terms of experience, in terms of different expertise, and in terms of gender diversity on the stage. So that's good stuff. Let me move forward to talk to another diverse candidate, Miss Lavanya. She's analog design engineer at Synopsys, and that's the background. By the way, I come from analog and mixed signal, to share her perspective, her opening remarks.
Thanks for the introduction, and thanks for giving this opportunity for Anurag University and my supervisor. So, miniaturization of circuits. If we come from, let us start from the starting. So, satellites, it has subsystems, and inside the subsystems, how the circuits are placed and how those circuits are miniaturized. So, what are the criteria that we follow to miniaturize the circuits? So, as Venkatesh sir said, integration of all the boards onto a single chip, which is called SoC or SoC integration. So how we can do that? In what levels the miniaturization can be done? That is technology level miniaturization, circuit level miniaturization, architectural level, and power circuit miniaturization, and also radiation miniaturization. So technology miniaturization, if you take the subsystems in the satellite, we have onboard computer, which is the brain of the satellite we generally call, and the EPS, electrical power system, and then communication system, which links the communication between ground and satellite. So all these components or subsystems will have circuits where miniaturization has to be done. So technology level miniaturization, in the sense, will go less than 7 nanometer or 14 nanometers, 7 nanometer technology nodes, such that we will get less size. The main goal of the CubeSat or miniaturization is nothing but we have swap size, weight, and less power. So less going to lower node technologies and removing passives. Removing passives is nothing but we will replace those passives with switched capacitors or on-chip capacitors called MIM capacitors or MOM capacitors. We cannot completely replace the capacitors, the passives, but in place of passives, we are trying to place switched capacitor or on-chip passives. That is technology miniaturization. Coming to circuit miniaturization, we can use current. If you are, instead of having many bias circuits, we will have many circuits in the satellite subsystems. So instead of having many bias circuits, bias generators, what if we have a single bias generator which fulfills the operation or which completes the operation of all the subsystem, at least few of the subsystems, such that the size reduces and also power also reduces. So that is the circuit level miniaturization. And the other is architectural level miniaturization, where comes SoC integration and RF miniaturization. So SoC integration we already have seen from Venkatesh sir's speech, where all the boards are placed in a single chip such that it becomes SoC. So RF miniaturization is what, instead of having, let us suppose we have a low noise amplifier which is used for multiple frequency bands. Instead of having multiple LNAs, what if we have single multi-band LNA which fulfills the purpose of all the many of the frequency bands, which covers many frequency bands. So that is how we can do RF miniaturization. And coming to RF radiation miniaturization, there is, generally we see in the textbooks, a transistor around a circle will be present, right? So we call it as encapsulation. So that encapsulation generally fulfills the radiation effect, where God rings are also used to remove latch-up. So all these techniques we use to protect the circuit such that it will not get affected from the radiation. The next level, if we go, where comes the automation? So these days everywhere, automation is the one which we are using. We are listening to the word, right? So automation, is it possible to perform or do automation to the circuits? Okay, we are listening to the miniaturization of the circuits. So automation is also possible. Research is going on where my research work is on that automation not completely automation, but how we can integrate VLSI circuits with the machine learning algorithms. So that is, we can call automation. Way beyond 3 years back, when I was doing research, there was one language where I used, or one tool that I used to integrate VLSI circuits to the machine learning. But now there is other term which has come called scientific machine learning, where the scientific machine learning mostly uses Julia programming language, where I was surprised by seeing the inbuilt packages that it has in this programming language, where it is completely this, the packages that are present in this Julia are performing all the tasks what we want. So even Venkatesh sir talked about training the neural networks as well. So even for training the neural networks, there is a pure full edge package where it does the complete training of the neural network. So what we want, let us suppose we have some output, every one of us know common source amplifier. We know the output of the common source amplifier, and that common source amplifier output we have. So how we can train a neural network such that it gives exactly, at least approximately, if we could train the neural network to give the common source amplifier output. So how we can do that? So this is how, this is just the example that I gave just to understand.
Thanks, Dr. Lavanya. Sorry to cut you short. We are running out of time, but thank you so much for the detailed explanation. Okay, so let me move further. Last but not the least, Mr. Sridhar, who's sitting on my left. He's the senior hardware manager at NVIDIA in Santa Clara, who's leading the advancements in engineering for the high performance GPUs. So, Mr. Sridhar, if you can share your brief opening remarks, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, I will be very brief. I think this is part of NVIDIA Santa Clara division now. I think some of the faces are familiar because last week I was here. I was giving a tech talk on VLSI trends and AI. So some of the intro is already covered. So currently I'm working on leading edge AI chips, which starts with on the paper drawing all the way to the product. So that's my quick background. Given this topic, I'm also curious to learn what are the trends are following in terms of satellite launching, right? So when we are working on a hardware ASIC on a ground level, it is easy to replace when there is a defect. Assume you launch a satellite with millions of dollars and there is a defect. What are we going to do? Do we need to come up with some logic already installed there? So these are the questions I think maybe students who are attending this, you need to ask this, because there is a lot of cost involved to bring back the satellite and it's not even possible now. So maybe from the audience who are thinking, you should think what is the hardware design difference when they are working on the ground, when they are part of the satellite, in terms of temperature, defects, redundant logic and all those things. We can discuss more. I think anything else after the session, I'm open to talk about anything on the AI related stuff. That's a quick remark.
Thanks, Sridhar. And that's a very important topic he brought up. And there is a rule, that while you are designing your logic and you encounter a bug, you say you end up spending 5 cents to, recover that whatever efforts have gone. And if that goes, beyond your logic, it goes to the, top level, probably there's another zero being added, and if it is out of fab, another zero gets added. Here we are talking about something which is already in the space, then you can imagine how many, further zeros get added to, to first of all, identify that bug and then rectify. People are talking about self-correcting, chips even, okay? We all of us have seen that Chandrayaan movie where they were self-correcting antenna where some hole has been created and how do it get stitched together. So that's a very important point. So in the interest of time, I was told that by 1 p.m. this has to get wrapped up so that by 1:15 the lunch starts for another 50 minutes. we have a plethora of experts sitting here, and we would like to stress on the semiconductors front specifically. There is a lot of momentum which is being gained by India Semiconductor Mission when it comes to Indian perspective. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, I'm sorry. I just missed Mr. Naren, who's on my right to give his opening remarks, and then probably we'll jump into the.
I'll just be brief.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's
for
okay.
that.
Thank you. I am from Synopsys as well, like Lavanya. So just briefly, I think Synopsys is about 1,400 employees in Hyderabad, and we primarily focus on EDA software design, IP design, and customer operations. And as multiple panelists have said, our focus also has been trying to use a lot of automation and AI in terms of making our products more smarter and intelligent to give the productivity and efficiency that our customers look for. So that's the focus everywhere, and thank you for the invitation. Please carry on.
Thanks, Naren. I'm so sorry. There is such a big round of sitting here, so thank you so much for this. Okay, so now coming back to the semiconductors, where semiconductors everywhere. I call it is up in the air. It is inside our hearts and souls, because if you take example of this particular room, it is full of semiconductors. Each one of us is having at least few of the semiconductors sitting in our pockets, to all the lighting, AV system, air conditioning system, etc., etc. So there's no life beyond it, and it's increasing by 22 CGR and beyond. And we expect this market to go, past $1 trillion by 2030. And in Indian context, we want to have a 10% of that share, worked out of India. About 100 billion is something we as a country are targeting. We are, I think, around 600 plus as of now. So with that, with that in mind, I would like to first open. The actual plan was I'll have a first round of questions with each of the panel members here, but seeing my watch, I would first like to give an opportunity to the audience, because now you know the background of all the panel members, to shoot out your questions. And if we still have time in hand, and I'll keep looking towards Dr. Santosh when he gives me the red signal, will cut it short. But if the time permits, I'll shoot out my set of questions to all of the panelists. So do we have a mic for the audience here? Please raise your hands, and we'll get a mic to you. For any of the questions you would like to ask to the expert sitting on the stage here. Any questions? Please raise your hand, and we'll get the mic to you. I see hand here in this third row.
Boys and girls, this is a very, very rare opportunity for you people. You are fortunate to be here to witness such great people on stage, and kindly use this opportunity to ask them whatever doubts you have, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais. I'm Akshaya Golipalli from Vardhaman College of Engineering, currently pursuing my third year BTech in Electronics Communication Engineering. My question goes to Dashratha sir. So very good afternoon. And my question goes like, sir, if you were a student today in this generation, like how would you frame your future? Like how would you frame your career from the day one? What would you learn first? How would you how would you frame the career from the first year, second year, third year? And I would also frame it like, how would you expect a third year student in the ECE would get into Cadence or any of the companies? I would frame it like that, sir. Would you answer?
It's a tough question actually. It's not easy to answer. If I were you, that I'll be enjoying it normally.
Like the generation.
Focusing. Yes, but definitely there is a lot more based on our experience today. Sometimes when we are working in the industry also, we don't have opportunity to experiment it. Whereas if I am a third year engineering, there are so much of things in technology, particularly agentic AI today.
Yes.
If you really need to go further to enhance and cross even the industry people, you can focus on it.
Okay, sir.
And then you can design what we are talking about it without having anything.
Yes, sir.
And in third year itself, you can advance. And we are actually, in fact, very soon, within 26, I'm trying to come up with some kind of training for the students, in open spaces in the cloud, we want to launch to all the students to how they can focus in future.
Yes, sir.
So we are actually, in fact, we thought about in our internal meeting that I want to see that how the students in India can benefit ahead of it. And there is a lot of opportunity. Today you have it in third year.
Yes, sir.
Focus heavily, whatever what you're using, use it agentic AI. And how to use it, there's some guideline you need it. So more than happy, very soon we kind of provide that kind of information also. And if you don't have it, otherwise you can even look at it in different collaborations and different sites, you will find it. But systematically we'll provide very soon.
Yes, so we are looking forward for that great opportunity, sir. Thank you for answering the question, sir. Thank you.
That's so great, and though this was not asked to me, but I would like to put in a little word that I keep on getting this question that, sir, AI is coming, whether, what would happen to me, whether I'll get a job or not. And those who are already in the job, they are worried whether they'll be, still needed in the industry or not. So my perspective is, first of all, whatsoever we are doing today, in next couple of years, certainly the way we do that thing is going to change. Whatsoever we have done traditionally for even for years, is going to change. And the people who are smart enough to adopt to this, beauty of AIs would, survive in the long term. So AI is not something we need to be worried about. Assume this as your friend and see how we use AI to excel further. Okay, whatsoever I am doing presently, and we were talking about automation. I know Lavanya was talking. I feel, and that's what I tell to any of my team members, is that if there is any task which we are doing 2 or more than 2 times, let's automate it. And how do we use, AI to automate it? But don't ask me how do, we brush teeth every day, how do we automate that? But whatsoever way we can adopt to AI, don't think AI is our enemy, take that as a friend of ours and see how do we be more productive. And I'm curious to even know what's happening in 2026 by JD, to learn from that perspective. Thank you. Okay, the next question, I think there's a question here already. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Suraj, and I'm from Vardhaman College of Engineering, pursuing my BTech in third year. Not specifically to to panel member question. My question is I'm really interested in CMOS analog and RF designing. So which kind of project should we do in our third year? So to get attention from Cadence or Synopsys, any companies, which I'm looking forward.
Okay, so we have an analog expert on the extreme left, though I come from the same background. I would request if she would like to briefly, answer this question, or else I'll add up my perspective.
So this is again from today's speech from Venkatesh sir. Fundamentals are the basics. Although we enter into industry, sometimes we don't understand what we are doing. But basically, internally what's happening is that basic circuit will be there or running behind our brain. So basics are very important. First, because in third year mostly you will be doing mini project.
Yes.
So take the circuits from the textbook. So if you are interested in analog circuit, we have Razavi textbook where we have many problems behind it. At every chapter we have many problems. So just try to build the Cadence tools is also there. Generally in academia we will have Cadence only. So try to build the circuits, understand the behavior of the transistor. So that's how generally we learn analog design. So coming to that is transistor part. Coming to the circuit part, whatever the circuits that we have in the textbook, start building from that. That is more than enough. By the time you do your main project, you will understand what exactly the project that you have to take. That's how I learned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
But irrespective, and this is something I feel is true in non-engineering, that it's like, try again to the basic. You need to be really deep into one topic, and that topic is something you need to pick up. For you, it's analog and mixed signals, or someone else it could be digital design, or someone would like to work in PD or other domain. But try to get as deep as possible to that particular domain, okay? And if you want to be in circuit, you should know KVL, KCLs by heart. You should not be looking for any other assistance, if a KVL, KCL or a small signal model or a large signal model is, being asked to you. At the same time, I feel that even if you give me some new language which I am not aware of, okay? So I'm not talking about the HDL languages, but irrespective, let's assume I'm comfortable in Hindi, English or Punjabi or any few languages. But if you give me a new language, if I start learning first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, after third attempt, I feel typically things would start, making sense to you. So you would have that, should have that patience to, get to that level. And no one, Mr. JD sitting right to me, he's 40 years experience, and so do Venkatesh mentioned, none of us has done, I would say a rocket science. When we got into any of the domains, we just tried it and gave our best, but then that became a rocket science, okay? So we don't expect you to be the rocket science, but a very good foundation, strong, and she already named the book Razavi, where you should, get started if you want to be in analog and the mixed signal design sphere. Yeah. Okay, so next question.
Thank you, sir.
I see one hand on the top, last row, and then there was one on the left here.
Yeah, good afternoon to all the panel members, sir. My question is to Dasarath, sir. So generally, I am a assistant professor in EC department, Dr. Radhika. Sir, my question from teacher's side. Generally, technical teachers lag in, we don't have any kind of teacher training before entering into this job, like BEds. So, sir, don't you feel that there is a necessity of providing training to the teachers, industry-oriented teachers training? Because in most of the colleges, we will not be having special kind of industry-oriented teachers for training. We always will be thinking about the students. Why can't it be extended to teachers also? Every year, some bunch of teachers might have taken for training, industry-oriented training. That's a request from my side, sir.
Thank you, madam. It's the first time actually is coming with the request. Actually, we are very happy to do that. In fact, we are trying to see that how many people we can train so that they can motivate the students. It's majority of the time the teachers are not coming forward. And I'm very happy to hear it. And
so ma'am, I think one thing, good question. I'm not trying to market Synopsys here, but I just wanted to comment that Synopsys has taken a conscious initiative. We call it as obviously faculty development program. Now, along with students, every 3 months, we are conducting a faculty training. Obviously, it's based on Synopsys software, but if it is based on Synopsys, you could use the same thing with Cadence as well. So I think I will share the contact with Santoshi madam. On LinkedIn, we post whenever these trainings are conducted once in a quarter, once in digital, and the next cycle would be analog, and then verification and so on. So please take that opportunity. It's free for colleges, conducted by Synopsys, and we started this about 1 year ago, and we are going to increase the frequency of it because we sense the need that faculty needs to be trained so that they can equip the students and train the students also.
Madam, as Anand Technologies, already, some of the universities already approached Anand Technologies for training of their faculty. So we already, Vignan University already sent their faculty to Anand Technologies for different department, VLSI department and embedded system. Recently, VNR Vignan Jyoti College also has sent, they are going to send their faculty to associated with Anand Technologies for 6 months period for their, in RF and microwave technologies. So I think Anurag also can approach to Anand Technologies, so for such a thing, any requirement is there. Thank you.
Even though we are sitting next to each other, the competition at the companies wise, world number 1 and world number 2, but reality is we are very good friends. When it comes to the society point of it, when it comes to the students, all of us ready to help. Actually, in fact, we came in the same car to make sure we are together to support all the student community. Okay, going forward also, it doesn't matter which software you use it. It's, what you are using is important. What you are learning is important. So both, whether it is Cadence or Synopsys, we are ready to help, and we are launching it quite a bit recently. And we are actually, that is one of the reasons when we started 30 years ago, nobody heard about software those days. And we thought about VLSI 30 years ago. And thinking that that's the right thing for the society, for the economy point also. Right now, more than happy. All we do is if we can come up with a plan, and we are more than happy to help. So independent of it, actually together also we can support it. There is no problem, and it doesn't need to be a single company to do that, because sometimes you can make, as an institute, you can make everybody to come forward rather than any company, one company. Thank you, madam.
We have at NRSC website, nrsc.go.in, we have a training calendar. So if you feel any of the topics you are interested, you can always enroll and through that website. Second thing is an internship program in your summer break or winter break, any of the vacation. If you feel that we can be of any help to you in your domain, you can always approach us, and then you can do some part of your project or some part of your knowledge enhancement with us as per your area of interest.
Yes, that's really great, and thanks for asking this particular question, because what happens is that a good qualified teacher, I say that, bachelor's, master's, and a PhD program, probably a postdoc being done, is parked inside a very good, reputed university like Anurag, and he or she never went to industry for a day, and now we expect them to, produce every year at least a batch of 60 students or more, maybe more than that, who are industry ready, okay? So that's I could hear your heart well, and there are some initiatives happening, and this is what I started talking almost 5-7 years back, is that we should have an internship program for our faculty members, and this could be a part-time things wherein your subjects or your classes are here in the first half, you go to second half to the nearby industry, or probably stretch your evenings to do that. I heard few of the IITs now at least have this option where people with some year of experience can even take a sabbatical to being in the industry, as an intern, wherein you learn on the job what is happening in the real-time battlefield. And thanks to the commitment by Anant and the JD on this sphere. And I think as like Synopsys at NXP also we have a program, we call it as Campus Connect, which happens on every first and third Tuesday, where an industry expert delivers a talk. And these days I'm hearing that many of the faculty members are now joining those programs which were originally meant for students. So there are initiatives, keep your ears and eyes open, and certainly we should have more formally taking this up. I had a word with the ICT chairman a few months back, and he was quite appreciative even about this particular initiative. Okay, so there was a hand raised on my left.
Yeah, so good afternoon to all the panelists on the stage. My name is Sean, I'm from Anurag University. I'm a second year student. A really quick question I have for Mr. Satish and Mr. Rajesh is, when we have space-grade technology, right, like chips which are physically immune to radiation, and we have modern technology, like modern circuits and modern processors, which are much faster, what would you give a preference to? Seeing as we cannot simulate the complete and absolute conditions of space and general space on Earth, which would you choose to send into space?
So now this modern, whatever the technology, chips are coming. So we can't simulate the radiation. Okay, some tests are there even after making the complete system. But in spite of that, we are redundant technologies always be there. So in electronics, space electronics, we always keep a redundant circuits. And nowadays we are going to implement TMR logics in FPGAs because of the single event upset and single event latch up problems. And there is a firmware scrubbing. These are the methodologies we are using to, to prevent these kind of problems.
Yeah, so one more thing is like, because the technology being developed so rapidly. So one approach we have taken when I was at Planet Labs was that, so when we talked about this whole power storage devices, where like the typical spacecrafts before that like were using the very customized lithium ion battery cells and all, which is going to cost a fortune, right? Companies like Planet Labs, we can't afford. What we have undertaken, qualifying that was, we picked up the Panasonic 18650 as a battery cell, because like that's what the Tesla Gigafactory is making it, and then there is no shortage of these cells. Where like we have undertaken the activity by just like doing the complete ground qualification, by just like having this from production around that on the circuit level, and also like we have done this space qualification as well, because we have. So one thing, the XG-Links, right, what we are doing is we have a platform which is like our very smallest NS, we call it as nano small. We are actually opening up that platform for like the industry to qualify any of the new technologies would like to be qualified in space, where we have that like multiple payloads as a one-off testing payloads we are onboarding. So we have the option to like keep the new technology can be onboarded and then like space qualified. Once it's qualified, and then we have that all the measurements and telemetry that can be like made a standard. So now 18650, after we done the qualification, now it has become the industry standard now.
Okay.
Great, thank you. And I saw the person standing on my right for the question. Can you get a mic to him, please? And post that, we'll have one last question, and because I was told that by 1:15 we should wrap up. We are already beyond 1:15 here.
Good afternoon to the panelists and the fellow attendees. So I am Akhil from Vienna Vignan Jyoti Institute of Technology, pursuing my MTech in VLS and system design. So as a PG level student, we would like to pose a question to the panelists. So in industry point of view, for what skills or traits do the companies look for PG level students?
What skills and traits for PG students we look for? That's what your question is?
Yes, I just want you to differentiate like how you are going to like on a UG level and a PG level, what sort of differences would the companies would pose?
Okay. So I'll give a quick answer, at least my perspective here, and don't take me wrong, okay? In general, what is happening, my understanding, and I might be totally wrong, that if after bachelor's we are not able to secure a good position in whatsoever domain we want it to be it industry or academia, most of us are doing now PG. I don't know, how true that resonates with people sitting here. So that means we lacked something in bachelor's, and now we want to cover that up in 2 years. So whatsoever we haven't done in 4 years, we want to be called as masters. And still, I would say that first bridge that gap of 4 years in your 2 years, and the moment you are a PG, at least the expectation from an interview perspective goes as now you are a masters of that topic, okay? And but if you are lacking somewhere in the foundation course of yours, then you'll be penalized more, because we expect you to be the masters of the domain. At the same time, I feel the moment we are out of the bachelor's and get to the master, it's master of one domain, say semiconductor, VLSI, or embedded system, whatever you're doing, but you need to be junk of the all. I expect that from a master's student, that expert in a given domain, and that domain is a very individual thing, your core expertise, but you need to be junk of the all. You should know, the other process flows, etc. So that I think typically we expect. I would request if any of the other panelists would like to add up to this.
Yeah, from at Silicon Labs we hire BTech as well as MTech. There are some areas where we prefer an MTech. One of them is RF and analog design, which is not depth enough in BTech. The other is a digital signal processing and communication system design, which is heavily mathematical, and the level of mathematics is not sufficiently covered at the BTech level. So in some of these areas we look for an MTech, but like what Preet was saying, they really have to be masters there, okay? And a lot of things today, people can learn by themselves. They can take courses. But what is difficult to learn by yourself is mathematical concepts. The second is which involves a deep understanding of the physical aspect of something. There is a mixture of physics and mathematics, which is there in the RF and analog domain. So if you want to do an MTech, do it in those areas where clearly there is
a differentiation compared to BTech. It should not be an extended version of BTech. It should be something specialized, and it should have mathematical and scientific background to it. Then it's very useful.
Thanks, Venkatesh. So,
Thank you, sir.
in the interest of time, one last question, and we'll close this call here. Yeah, because this guy was really waiting from last 2 terms, and we can have an offline discussion with you, during the lunch break. Yes, please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. My name is Vinod, and I'm from Anurag University. I'm doing my 3rd year undergrad as an EC student. So my question is to Venkatesh sir, as he was speaking about quantum computing. So if we are actually minimizing our technology by nanometers every time, and we achieve a certain point where the size of a microprocessor is an qubit. It's in quantum states. But today we see that a quantum computer is almost the size of the banner which is beside you. So is quantum really the future which we are seeing at?
That's actually a good question, because people don't really know. You are true that, okay, today's quantum computers are enormous, because a lot of quantum qubit, they are very unstable. So they literally have to work in 0 to 2 degrees Kelvin. And it's very, very difficult to create cooling systems to make it work at that low temperature. And that's why they are so complex. And then they use a lot of error correction and so on. But we are looking to see whether there is any progress in this field, like using photons, which can work at room temperature also to generate qubits. Okay, so there is a lot of research happening. So if some research clicks and you have a 100 qubit system or 1,000 qubit system which is working at room temperature and can be in the size of a desktop, then the whole world will be kept. Suddenly they will be in a crisis mode, because that guy can solve all the problems and all the codes and everything can be cracked. So in parallel, the industry is working, but maybe all this work is not needed if physically those million qubit devices cannot be realized. We don't know, but we are being prepared for it.
Great. So maybe a closing remark, particular to your question. Do you know the size of first computer? Okay, and now you see this little device. It can do, 1000x more compute with 1000x less power, and with 1000x more fast time. So that's how the technology is, something which is really mega and probably, impossible, which seems today, as you said, the size of the, the quantum compute, might be something which you'll be using day in, day out in the times to come, okay? So it's like when there used to be a black and white television in all the house, people would say, oh, one day we will be able to see color, pictures on the cinemas, and that becomes a reality. So with this, I would like to, thanks all the panelists, and JD has to make a remark here.
Actually, you're asking when it is going to be. 2028 is going to be reality, and we already have the prototype in the market. And we are working very closely with some of the companies. In right now, pretty much it is very soon. It is 28. We are going to launch. I mean, we in the sense, my customers are going to launch it. Okay.
Great. Okay, so a big thanks to each panelist here for sparing out time, and a big thanks to all the audience for all the interesting questions. We know we are running out of time. We'll be still here around during the lunch at least, and probably few of us would even stay back post lunch. So feel free to reach out to the panelists you feel who can give you the appropriate guidance and further counseling for your career perspective. So with this, I'll hand it over to Dr. Santosh for the closing ceremony. Thank you.
So I am Dr. Tara Singh Thakur, the Director of Physical Education and Director for Events and Operations at Anurag University. And I'm happy to let you all know that I have been associated with IEEE CASIF for almost 3 major events. This is the 3rd one. First one was at T-Hub. Second was on this same stage, and third one is I am always happy to host IEEE here. And on behalf of Anurag University, I once again thank all the dignitaries here on stage who have joined us. Now, to do the honors, to do the felicitation to all the dignitaries, I'd like to first request our CEO, Mrs. S. Neelma ma'am, to come on to this dais. And I request today's chief guest, Dasarath Gude sir, to join madam to felicitate each one of the panelists. Kindly come forward, sir. So first, along with these two, I'd like to call upon Dr. Chakradhar sir, the Vice President IEEE CAS, to join us on stage to do the felicitation. And first, I'd like to call Mr. Preet Yadav for doing a great job as a moderator for this panel. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Preet sir, and thank you, Chakradhar sir. Now, to do the felicitation, I'd like to request Dr. Hari Krishna sir, the Head Department of EC, to join Nilma ma'am and Dashrath Gude sir. And I request a panelist, Mr. N. Venkatesh sir, the Senior Director, Silicon Labs, to come forward for the felicitation. Thank you, Hari Krishna sir. Now I invite Professor Mangal Gauri madam, the Senior Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communications and our former Head Department of Electronics, to do the honors. And I request Mr. Rupesh Gandupalli, the CEO of XD Links Space Labs, to kindly come forward for the felicitation. Thank you, Mangal Gauri madam. Now let me invite Dr. Satish Kumaran, Dean for Research and Development, to join us on stage to do the felicitation. And for taking the honor, I request Mr. Sridhar Gudala, the Senior Hardware Engineer and Manager in Media, to come forward. Thank you, Satish sir. Now invite Dr. Narayana sir, Department of EC, who is the coordinator for Anurag project. Kindly come on the stage to do the honors to Mr. Satish Dhawan, the General Manager of Anurag Technology. Thank you, Narayana sir. And now I would like to request Dr. Renuka ma'am from the Department of EC to join us on stage to do the felicitations along with Nilma ma'am to Mrs. Jaya Saxena, Dr. Jaya Saxena, the scientist at NRSC ISRO. Thank you ma'am for being with us. Thank you, Renuka ma'am. I'd like to invite Dr. Anita Priyadarshini ma'am on stage to do the honors to Mrs. Lavanya from Synopsys. Thank you, Anita ma'am. Now I request Dashrath sir and Nilma ma'am to do honors to Professor Subramanya Garu, the Director of Veda IIT. Santosh ma'am to join with us. I'd like to request the guest on stage to honor Mr. Ravindra, the Director for Synopsis. So we will have a formal vote of thanks followed by a group photograph because I don't think getting such big people on one stage is easy for anyone.
Formally express our gratitude to all the dignitaries and I invite both the management and the department to deliver the vote.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone gathered here. It's my honor to extend vote of thanks on behalf of Department of ECE, Anurag University. We are deeply grateful to our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Dasrath Gudesar, Corporate Vice President, for gracing this event with your visionary address and inspiring presence. Our heartfelt thanks to our distinguished keynote speakers, Mr. Rupesh from Xilinx and Mr. N. Venkatesh, Senior Director, Silicon Labs, for sharing profound insights into advancements in satellite systems and semiconductor technologies. We are equally thankful to Mr. Preet Yadav, Head India Innovation Ecosystem, NXP Semiconductors, for moderating the enriching panel discussion, and to all our panel members present here, representing leading global organizations including Cadence, Silicon Labs, NVIDIA, Anand Technologies, NRSC, ISRO, and Synopsys. We sincerely appreciate the support and guidance from our university leadership, Mrs. Neelma Ma'am, CEO Anurag University, Dr. V. Vijay Kumar Sir, Dean, School of Engineering, Mr. Anurag Palla, Associate Vice President, Strategy. A special note of gratitude to IEEE Hyderabad section and IEEE Circuits and Systems Society, especially Dr. JVR Ravindra and our own Santosh ma'am for their valuable contribution in making CASIF 2025 a grand success. I extend my appreciation to all the organizing committee members, faculty coordinators, student volunteers, and our Office of Events and Operations for their commendable teamwork. We are especially excited for the space circuits and mini-sat challenge that awaits next in the afternoon session. Wishing all our young engineers a very best and as they showcase groundbreaking ideas in the next session. Thank you very much.
I request all the dignitaries to please stay on the dais as we take a group photo.